Hello, everyone. We are back. Like always, he's your host, Lord of Shadows, with my charming favorite council member.
Film Review Central.
And welcome all of you, Kryptonians, vigilantes, criminals, supervillains, Secret Six, Suicide Squad fanatics, Blackhawks members, Birds of Prey, Justice League fan fiction favorite. Welcome to another Shadow Council episode. And with all the things I said right now, I think you're gonna get the idea what we're gonna do. Well, it is time
The
to talk.
MCU.
Right. I don't have a comeback on that. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, it's time to talk about the end of an era. Like lasted 10 years. More precisely, we're going to talk about the legacy of the DC extended universe. Basically, we're going to have a conversation about all our old thoughts. We're going to go through like some actors, some characters, villains, movies, story, and etc. And at the second half of this live stream, you're also going to hear from our own mouths, our own rankings from worst to best. And some choices I believe will probably surprise you or shock you. But anyway, let's go on with the conversation. Shall we?
Yes, we shall.
Okay, so basically, let me just say it right now. They should have just simply kept it like, they should have let just simply Zack Snyder make his own movies and that's it. Nothing else. Like basically from Man of Steel to his like Batman v Superman to the Justice League trilogy, and that's it. Because the one thing I'm gonna say right now, the connection sucked. Okay, the connection sucked. Like this DC extended universe is a universe filled with controversies, with like changes of leadership, to like changes of actors, to changes of movies, scrapping movies, announcing projects which never came to life, and so on and so forward. Man, like this, like I'm sorry to start like that, but this universe had really some big flaws. But the biggest one, I will say right away, the biggest one is speed. They wanted to quickly compete with MCU, and I think that was the first start of this like downfall of this ginormous DC House of Cards, if I can put it poetically. Well, go ahead.
Is it my go? Is it my go? Yes. Yeah. Why not? I absolutely agree with everything you've said. I think at the time, looking back at 2013, Marvel had a very impressive run after the Avengers, and it was the Avengers. It changed superhero movies, and I think what DC tried to do was keep up with that momentum. But to me, what the MCU did, particularly in that Infinity Saga, let's move away from what they're doing now because I know there's a lot of criticism, but it was consistent. There was a momentum. It was building and building to the point where it became something where I feel like in phase 3, the MCU are on autopilot. They just made movie after movie of real pure quality. And if you look at the DC, they never had that. They never had consistency. They never had momentum. It was like a roller. Have you ever been on a roller coaster, Mr. Shadows? It's like you go up and you start to go up, and it's a great time, and then you might have a drop off, but it was like that. It was like the worst roller coaster in the world. And then you go with loopity loop. I hate loopity loops. What's the point of them? And that was the whole. And that is how I felt with this: is that they just never found their consistency. They never felt like, okay, back-to-back projects they can do well. I always say, and everyone goes up into it, what's the best year of the MCU? And you're like, Jesus, this is really hard. What is the best year for the movies? I look at all the movies here, and I think to yourself, like, DC don't have that. They don't have that best year. They just go, oh, that was a decent one, a couple of bad ones. Oh, that was all right. And you just felt like DC were just going through the motions. They had so many production problems, some that were completely out of their control, some that they made stupid decisions on. It was just a project destined to fail. And the best part about all of this is that you look at other projects that DC have done, meanwhile, because they have been making movies elsewhere. Joker 2019. I love that film. I think that film's an amazing movie. The Batman that came out with Matt Reeves, that is a great Batman movie. DC, what they do really well is these just individual stories, focusing their whole heart on that and not focus on being connected. So it's not like DC have just spent all of their time over the last 10 years on this franchise. You've got films that are not even connected, that people wish they probably were connected, that were absolutely brilliant. And it really is a struggle. There are some shining lights, and we'll get into that in part 2. But for me, individual films and TV shows, there's a bright spark. There's things where you go, it's really great, but it's just chucked into a franchise with so much negativity. And I think the DCEU now will look back at this as being a franchise of just up and downs, both on screen and off, and just really poor decision making.
Like everything you just said, like I said, like this universe was in total shambles, and it all started with like when Warner Bros. Basically clicked on panic mode when Batman v Superman came out. Like it all started with that. I mean, like you had Man of Steel. Like, okay, what better way to start with Superman, which is natural.
Yeah.
Of course, it's natural.
Yeah.
Okay, the movie was great for me personally. The movie was great. Everything was fine. Like I love Henry Cavill, Michael Shannon as General Zod. He was great, and everything was fine. You had a great start. Batman v Superman. First, then you have Batman v Superman. Okay, like Zack Snyder, he wanted Neely to go to that. Okay, fine. But then, basically, and then, with all the criticisms, all the negativity, and, and also some surprises that should have been kept just for the movie, Doomsday, but they showed it in the trailer. Just from that started to go, kind of like a little bit downhill. But maybe, it was a time where, okay, maybe, no, they can still fix it. Okay, they can still fix it. But then, the entire thing with Suicide Squad and David Ayer. Then, of course, Justice League with Zack Snyder and, God rest his soul, his daughter and all that. From that moment, the leadership of the DC universe and, all the movies, they went into shambles. Just like I said at the beginning, they should have easily just simply let Zack Snyder do his thing. Basically do his own movies the way he wanted. Like I said, the Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. Make these those these stories that he always wanted to tell, and that's it. Or basically make this brand as DC Elseworld stories,
which is what they're doing now. Which is what they're going to do.
That's one of the things that James Gunn did right. He's gonna have his own DC universe. Everything's gonna be connected, but they're also gonna have DC Elseworld stories, in which Matt Reeves can tell his Batman stories, the Joker thing, even Teen Titans Go, and all of that. That's what they should have done. I think that's what they should have done from the beginning. Zack Snyder doing his own thing, David Ayer did his own thing. Same with Shazam, Black Adam, Birds of Prey. I think they should have made them basically a DC Elseworld universe, and that's it. Maybe when Zack Snyder started, maybe he actually wanted to have a connection or something. But again, with the Batman v Superman, because he was greedy, he was dark, he was serious, and all of that, which is kind of don't get me wrong. Hello, that's what the DC universe is. Unlike Marvel, DC is way more grounded and darker and serious than, for example, Marvel was. When I'm talking about now in the just in the movies or TV shows, but also in the comics as well. Mostly in the comics. So I accepted, it was like, darker, serious, a little bit like very less humor and all that. Okay, but again, immediately when some people said like, oh, Batman v Superman was like this and this and that, okay, there, stop everything you're doing, scrap what you're doing. No, we're gonna make Suicide Squad much more lighter. We're gonna make Justice League much more lighter. Like, we're gonna from 4 hours. Oh, screw that. We're gonna go to 2 hours, which basically amounted to shit. And Suicide Squad, don't let me start on that. Oh my god, like they seriously, like I said, they activated panic mode. Warner Bros. Activated panic mode, and basically went into total shamble. And again, like, even though Suicide Squad, as a movie, did had some, like, for me personally, it had some like positive moments and casting and all of that, but like, like in the end, it ended up being a totally way different movie than what, like, David Ayer wanted to do. And don't let me star on the Justice League. Oh my god, how much they changed on that. Jesus. But overall, I mean, they tried to stay connected. Also, when Walter Hamada came in, and all of that, they still tried to make it connect and all that. But it was still a very clunky connection. Like, you still didn't have no idea, wait, what this had to do with, like, Henry Cavill's Superman, what this had to do with, like, Ben Affleck's Batman, and all, like, it was all like my first reaction is basically was all very confusing when it comes to connectivity. It was all very confusing.
You came out of every film with questions, and that was not really that's not really helpful. You have more questions going into the film than you do out, and I think what this shows is that, in an alternate universe, in an Elseworld. See the link I did there?
Yep.
Are you impressed? Are you impressed with me? We could be talking right now about the legacy of the MCU, for example. No. Let me explain. Don't clip that. The legacy of the MCU, because DCEU might have come first, and that might be the template. The problem is that DC and Marvel, I hate when people compare them. The only link that they have is that they have superheroes in
and villains.
They are completely different franchises with completely different goals and completely different characters. Like you said, grounded, darker is DC. But the problem is that MCU had a very successful template. And I remember they had one phase. They had when Man of Steel came out in 2013, they'd only just had 6 movies to play off. But they were very successful 6 movies. And the template was what the fans wanted. They trusted us type of characters. And, the production company as well didn't really help in terms of just, Warner Brothers all got involved. They had their own problems towards the end with their, production company, but we don't want to talk about this on the channel because that's very political. But for me, you really see throughout this whole thing, throughout the whole 10 years, a lack of a Kevin Feige figure. Now, Zack Snyder, you could argue and say that Zack Snyder was trying to be that role, but Zack Snyder is a filmmaker. Zack Snyder was, and I think now obviously what James Gunn is going to do is try and be that figurehead. Apparently James Gunn's spoken to Kevin Feige quite a lot. I think he's going to go into that, but respect that this is a different universe, or obviously what he's going to try and build up. But I do think that throughout the whole 10 years of this, it lacked a figure behind orchestrating it, being the mind. And I think that's, yes, Zack Snyder does, but I don't think that Zack Snyder had a particular way of films. And you see that with obviously what he's done with the Army of the Dead film on Netflix, Rebel Moon, which we're not getting into that, let me tell you. But he's got a particular way of filmmaking because he's a director. Kevin Feige is a producer. He lends himself to all different genres and looks at the overarching thing. But you've got to say that without the MCU's template, and a very successful one as that, where the DCU would have been, what they decided to do was keep an eye too much on Marvel. Marvel were like, we're doing our own thing. We'll leave you to do what you need to do. DC were like, no, please tell us, please show us what we need to do, and it just doesn't work. And I think that's where the DCEU really did lack, was trying to copy something that was successful, but was so completely different in tone.
Exactly. Like you really hit the nail on the coffin, because
am I doing well today, by the way? Am I doing well?
Well, that's good to hear. That's most important for you doing good. But I will agree that what you just said was absolutely true. Like they needed someone like Kevin Feige. First and foremost, they needed someone like who had like this, like one vision, like, what they wanted to do, with the DC extended universe. And again, I'm still standing with what I said. They should have just simply let Zack Snyder do his thing, like a normal, like, everyday DC movie, or like, his own series of DC movies, basically. Like I said, with the Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, the Justice League trilogy, and that's it, and basically move on. Or if they wanted to create a DC extended universe, like, again, I repeat, they need first and foremost like Kevin Feige. Some people tried, and none of them were good. None of them were good. I'm sorry to say this, like some people I do respect, but none of them were good. None of them were on that level. I'm telling you, if James Gunn became way early on the leader of the DC extended universe, I'm telling you, it would be a much more better universe than what it was like in this like 10 years with so many different leaderships and all that. So anyway, so like I said, they could have made a plan, how to do it, what to do it, where the story can go, and all of that. Which characters can we introduce, which villains can we introduce, which projects can we do, like. But the biggest mistake they ever did that started all that, I said at the beginning, is speed. They wanted to speed up and reach, to try to compete with Marvel Cinematic Universe, which was the biggest mistake they ever did. What they needed to do, it doesn't matter if like Marvel is basically, let's just say, it doesn't matter if Marvel is on the lead. What they needed to do was basically build it step by step. And then later on, no matter how far Marvel is, later on you can say, which one is better, DC Extended Universe or Marvel? Yeah, I mean, the build they did like was really good. Like, I don't know which one to choose. Like, that's the way how they should have done it. And not to mention another problem was the creativity. Like every single director had their own vision, their own style. But when you're doing a cinematic universe, the one thing you have to understand is that with the main leader, you have to basically not simply adapt, but you also, have to communicate. You have to stand together to try to find out like what's this like type of creativity, what directors can do and what they cannot. What style and everything, like, that's also was a big problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, David Ayer, he is the least, he is the only one at least who tried to follow in Zack Snyder's style. I just want to say, he was the only one who kind of like followed in his footsteps in a way. But after Batman v Superman, again, panic mode, scrap what you did. We're going to change it, scratch that, reverse it, and basically, just simply let's make it more lighter, more colorful, more funnier, blah, 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 blah. And honestly, David Ayer,
but they failed at that. They failed. The Suicide Squad was not colorful.
I know. I mean, first and foremost, like, what the actual plan was in the original Suicide Squad?
Yeah. I just watched it. I've recently rewatched it and just,
okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch the extended 15 minutes extra?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, the original plan was, first and foremost, to involve Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf had to be involved, number one. Number two, the soldiers that Captain Wiggle Jiggle transformed, they were supposed to be kind of like, zombie-like parademons, something like that. So David Ayer, when he did that, I was like, oh, okay. So like he was trying to follow what Zack Snyder did, because in Zack Snyder's mind, everything was leading to Darkseid. to his Justice League trilogy, you know? And that's why, when he announced Cyborg, The Flash, Aquaman, they were supposed to have the same, almost same tone as, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. They had to have the same, almost similar tone. But I repeat, after the Batman v Superman complains that he's gritty, that he's dark, it is serious, no humor, because people were comparing it to Marvel, which is a stupid thing to do. I mean, it's okay. If they want to compare, they can compare it, but still, it's stupid. Anyway, Warner Bros. Immediately scratch that, reverse it. Let's make it lighter. Let's make it funnier. And which is another problem. Some projects in this universe, not all of them can be funny or colorful. Some of them are grounded. Some of them are grittier. Some of them are darker. Some of them are lighter. Some of them are, comedic. It all depends on which character you're doing. Like, for example, one example, when they wanted to do Plastic Man, because that was one of the DC Extended Universe projects. When they wanted to do Plastic Man, I was like, okay, that's a character you can do like a comedy superhero movie, because Plastic Man was supposed to be like a joke. You can do a comedy. Or for example, Black Canary. Now that's actually kind of like a crime thriller, movie, basically. Or you're doing, let's see, or if you did, like, for example, Etrigan. Now, Etrigan would have been basically like a horror fantasy type of like story, much more serious and scarier than funny. The point I'm trying to make is that that's what they should have done. Have more diversity in the style. But of course, no, everything needs to be colorful, everything needs to be comedic, just like Marvel.
I think, especially with Suicide Squad, obviously we're massively touching on that with David Ayer. I think the lack of faith in their filmmakers really shone when the Snyder Cut came out. The Snyder Cut, and then David Ayer made a point in saying that he's got his own cut of Suicide Squad, and you're like, what? Like, the MCU has never had a campaign where one of their films, like the Black Panther, the Ryan Coogler cut, or like Thor Ragnarok, the Taika Waititi cut, like that is their movies. And to me, the two examples I've just shown there is one of the most like director focused films where their style comes into the MCU, and back to back, their movies are so completely different, but they're supposed to be in the same universe.
Yeah,
and
but yeah, I'm sorry to stop you here, but the thing is that Marvel was way more kind of like confident in what the directors can do.
No, I
unlike Warner Bros.
But what I'm saying is that Suicide Squad and Justice League were, had two very solid directors at the helm where they knew what they were doing, and then they there was a lack of faith, and now the filmmakers are going against them, saying no, we want this. Without the fans, the Snyder Cut would never have been released, and
exactly.
So to me, that's where DC really did struggle with that. Marvel have never had a director turn around and go, they didn't make the movie that I wanted to make. They were confident. They took the opportunity to say, okay, this is a shared universe, but put your own version on it. We trust you with the directors we chose.
Sorry. Finish your point.
But Suicide Squad's the big thing is that they advertised it as, okay, this is DC's versions of Guardians of the Galaxy. What? Like, and then as soon as I heard, yeah, that's what they said. So seriously, if you read back, they're like, right, this is our own. This is like Guardians of the Galaxy in DC. I'm like, really? It just things like that. Every film had its problems. Every film really felt like it was being ran by a committee, ran by a group of people where they were trying to look at, dollar signs, pound signs, whatever, that's what all they were focusing on. They did listen to any directors, people that are fans of these characters, and just went ahead with what they wanted to do. And
I will give them credit for. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Go on.
Did you want to finish or say something else?
No, go on. No,
okay. I will say this: the only directors that they have let doing like they let them do whatever they wanted when it comes to like the DC Extended Universe movies. The only directors that they allowed, basically to like do whatever the hell they wanted was basically the guy who did the two Shazam movies, then the guy who directed Blue Beetle, and also I think James Wan with the first Aquaman movie, because the second one was also kind of like the Flash, kind of like a Frankenstein project. But so the two Shazam movies, Blue Beetle, and let me see. Well, Black Adam was more like Dwayne Johnson's vision, not much the director, more like Dwayne Johnson's vision. Let me think. Well, okay. And the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Those are the only project, as far as I know, those are the only project that the Warner Bros. Have let them, hey, do whatever the hell you want. Like they didn't get involved whatsoever at all. But the other ones, like they stick their noses into like those
Wonder
movies.
Woman, the Wonder Woman film, the first one.
The first one, because the second one, the problem with the second one is they give Patty Jenkins too much creativity.
Yeah, they pushed it too much.
They pushed it too much, and and that's why he has problems the way it is. I mean, like I was kind of like, because I was really disappointed. For example, like I really love Cheetah as a villain, and I was really excited to see her, but the way that how they handled her, and I was even fine with the actress they chosen, even though she's mostly a comedian. I was fine with her.
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, I was fine with her, honestly, but still the way how they did it, I was like, it doesn't work, okay? And also, don't let me speak about the way how they handle Maxwell Lord. I mean, you had Pedro Pascal. I was like, great, like okay, he could be a good Maxwell Lord, but the way how they made him into some kind of a Price is Right host, I mean, like. It's stupid. I mean, like, that's not Maxwell Lord at all. And
Wonder Woman, come on down.
Yeah,
You're playing the Price is Right.
Wonder Woman, 1984. Come on down to the Price is Right. All right, we have for you this magnificent Shield of Zeus and the Sword of Destiny. Now, what the price is, you have to guess, and then that could be yours. That's like. I would have been fine if Maxwell Lord said that, seriously, because he kind of looked like a game show host.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But anyway, and again, let me try to be frank here. Like the Snyder Cut and David Ayer's cut, the only reason why people were pushing it is because they wanted to see those two directors' visions. They wanted to see how they done those movies, the way how they looked and everything, And I'll be honest, even I was interested in the Snyder Cut. Like, to see what Zack Snyder was planning to do, like to see what he wanted to do, basically, curiosity. I was curious to see his vision, and I'm going to say it right off the bat, it was way better than the butchered Whedon bullshit. Way better. Yeah. My only complaint was the Steppenwolf design, but like, that's I'll get to that later, but so
minor things.
Yeah, minor things, and also there's a line I would have loved that Zack Snyder kept it in his cut, which is again it's Steppenwolf. Again, it's Steppenwolf's lines. Like for example, that in the theatrical version where a guy says, "Please, I have a family," and Steppenwolf was like, "Why does everybody keep telling me that?" Like I was like, okay, that was a good villain line. Okay, there was a good super villain line, and I wish that they kept that. And the other one, like now I was like, oh, now that was like hardcore villainy when he said, "Child, my axe is still slicked with the blood of your sisters." I was like, oh, like that was a great super villain line as well. I that's the only two lines I wish that Zack Snyder kept it, but it looks like it wasn't his vision at all. But overall, like you mentioned, like they got involved so much, and also another thing, like I said, the biggest problem was the connectivity. Instead of connecting, for example, Black Adam to Shazam. Dwayne Johnson, like, I mean, I usually respect the guy, but Dwayne Johnson's like, I want nothing to do with Shazam. I want nothing to do with Zachary Levi and his movies. I'm like, dude, Black Adam is the arch enemy of Shazam. What the fuck you're talking about? Like, you have to make a connection.
He said that. He said that when the Black Adam movie came out, it was like, this is like a new dawn for the DCEU. Like, this is going to be like bigger than Batman and Superman, and you're like, we're going to be the new face. And I'm like, mate, shut up. Like, it doesn't matter how good that movie is. Batman and Superman are the most popular comic book heroes of all time. Like,
and Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking of like, yeah, for DC, absolutely, yeah, but obviously, like, as a kid, you'd see like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, like them three, like, are just the most successful, like, up there. Yeah, Wonder Woman as well for DC, but you can't go in after a character that non-comic book fans don't know, and just go in with that mindset. You're forcing it on and say, like, this movie, because this is going to be your future. We didn't have Black Adam again, and obviously the DCU's done now. But I was just going to say, and obviously I know that would be particularly very negative on the DCEU for good reason, but they did have some bright spots. They did do some things original. They were the first, they jumped the gun in terms of having a female-led superhero movie in Wonder Woman, obviously before the MCU, because Captain Marvel was 2 years later. And they were the first, obviously they jumped the gun with TV, obviously having the Peacemaker series, where before Marvel didn't have any TV shows. Link, I'm not talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then all the Netflix stuff. Don't get me started on that. But Peacemaker was the first one that did that. And obviously now Marvel are using television too much. But anyway.
Actually, they're going to use less now.
Thank God for that. But yeah, it's, there are some bright spots in there. But yes, there are, they had $1 billion film in this. The DCEU had $1 billion film. Like, and not only is that the highest grossing DCEU movie, that is, no DC movie has ever grossed $1 billion.
But here's the thing: you had Batman, you had Superman, and none of them had made $1 billion. Like, the one that made $1 billion was fucking, like, not even Wonder Woman came to $1 billion. Aquaman came. Of all superheroes.
The man that talks to fish.
Exactly. The superhero that everyone considered him a joke. Like the most ridiculous one, that, like, one of the most ridiculous DC superheroes or superheroes in general. He made $1 million. Sorry, $1 billion. Like the first movie. And I mean, like, and again, which is another thing that I've always found the problem. Like, when you are doing it, like, they should have led from the very beginning. They should have led with the main trio, which is, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Those are the three main symbols of the DC universe, and they had to lead with them. And also, one more thing, which is another big mistake, is that they got the idea of a extended universe after, I think, Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
I think like that was then when they wanted to do a cinematic universe, because the thing is, if I was, for example, in charge of the DC extended universe, if I was like Kevin Feige, for example, what I would have done, first and foremost, I would never do like Man of Steel and then immediately Batman v Superman. I would never have done that immediately. I would have basically made movies like, let's just say, Phase 1, let's just say Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash. Then you can make, Batman v Superman with some changes, basically deleting the Superman's death thing. If you scrap that, you can do a Batman v Superman, movie. Then you can do, the Suicide Squad, and then you can do, the first Justice League movie. That's where basically you can put it. At least, that's the way how I would have done it.
Yeah.
And then later on, on other phases, you can introduce other superheroes. Let me not even start with how many projects they announced and they scrapped them. Like seriously, they had. I mean, I don't remember all of them, but they had Black Canary TV, Black Canary, Batgirl, Plastic Man, like a Deathshot, Deathstroke, Ben Affleck's Batman movie, which they should have released right at the beginning. They had the Wonder Twins. They had the Joker movie. Then they had the Harley and Joker movie. They had Gotham City Sirens. They had so much that they announced, like, hey, we're going to do this. And then immediately after they announced it, scrapped it. Just scrap it. Cancel it. I mean, like I said, oh my God. Like, again, they had potential. They had potential if they started slowly building it. They had potential. They, like, but of course, with all the shenanigans, and don't let me start how they treated Henry Cavill. Oh my God, the way how they treated that guy is, again, intolerable. The way how they treated, I mean, I don't know. Because, the guy, let's be honest, the guy was great as Superman. He was great. Okay, maybe he wasn't the preferred Superman that people knew. Like, for example, because a lot of people compared him to Christopher Reeve's Superman and who was the guy who did him in Superman Returns? Kevin Spacey. I know he was Lex Luthor in that movie. Shit.
Brandon Routh.
Thank you. Yeah, I know that people compared him to them, but I honestly liked Zack Snyder's vision, the way how he pictured Superman, the way how he made this story and everything. Speaking of that, the DC Extended Universe, they had a great casting. They had great cast members. Like, I mean, seriously, like, for example, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Will Smith, Deathshot, Ben Affleck, Batman, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, Henry Cavill, Superman, Dwayne Johnson, no matter how flawed he is, like Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, Zachary Levi as Shazam. Like, they had a spot-on casting. And they...
Momoa as Aquaman. Momoa as Aquaman was pretty good.
What?
I liked. Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He was good. And then, like, the Suicide Squad with James Gunn. Yeah, the James Gunn lot. They were all cast quite well.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Suicide Squad that James Gunn did, it's one of the highlights of the DC Extended Universe.
Yeah.
Not just even with the casting, but, like, even the story made sense. The humor was well deserved. All the characters had their moments, like, and not to mention Peacemaker. Oh my God, what he did with Peacemaker, that was, like, brilliant.
Without the DCEU, without the Suicide Squad, we would have had Sylvester Stallone as a bloody shark.
Oh my God, Sylvester Stallone is King Shark.
Amazing. I love
so smart, me. And like Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. That was brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was funny.
Oh my God. Like, and again, also Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. That was spot on casting. Because she is Amanda Waller.
The strangest casting on paper, but it worked so well. The strangest casting on paper, but it worked really, really well. And like I said, I've just rewatched the Suicide Squad. So on my channel, I'm hoping to rank all the DCU films. Very similar to what we're going to be doing in part 2, but obviously I'm trying to rewatch them at the moment. And I've just finished watching Suicide Squad. I'm on Wonder Woman at the moment. And Amanda Waller, Viola Davis, such a fantastic actress as well. So for her, go on.
Can I say one thing about not the Suicide Squad? I mean David Ayer's Suicide Squad. It's kind of easier for me to say David Ayer's Suicide Squad than because I always get confused with like the Suicide Squad. I would say David Ayer's Suicide Squad.
They don't make it easy.
There's one casting that a lot of people shit on, and I think you know which one I'm talking about. But a lot of people have problems with this casting. Even though personally, for me, I like the choice, and he wasn't that bad. Okay, he wasn't that bad. And of course, to not beat about the bush, I'm talking about Jared Leto's Joker. Okay,
I no.
the only reason why people were shitting on him is because the damaged tattoo that he had on his forehead. That's the only reason why the people were bashing him. Okay, the tattoos. Okay, there were in the comic books. Joker sometimes did wear tattoos, but again, all that criticism, all that bashing, it was completely unnecessary. I liked his unique laughter. I liked it. For me personally, he wasn't that bad. Like even the extra few minutes, that we got from him, from that car scene with in the Arkham Asylum, the flashback one, he was fine. He was completely fine as the Joker. Completely fine. He wasn't on how can I put this? Okay, he wasn't Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson. He wasn't on that level. But he was fine. And I know you're pointing like that, saying, no, he wasn't fine. No, he wasn't.
No. Absolutely not. No way. Honestly.
Look, oh my God.
He tried too hard. That was the problem with him. He tried too hard to be medicine and weird. It was just, and also the one
Whoa.
No. Hang on a minute. He tried so hard to try and be that, but all the imagery, come on, he's got people in panda suits with guns. That's not scary. That's not nothing. And then that scene where they he just lays down and he's got all the knives and stuff, and he's got baby clothes and it's mainly on the imagery of the Joker in Suicide Squad. I understand why he was in it. I do get that, but it's more my biggest problem with that was the imagery of what the Joker was in the setting, where Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson, Joaquin Phoenix, it's the performance and just the way they transform themselves into that sort of very psychotic state. Jared Leto's wasn't psychotic. He had things that made him look. He chucked himself into whatever it was to save Harley, which I understand was important for the story. But no, not Joker for me. It was too forced upon being scary rather than just the way that he transformed himself was the scary part.
Okay, fair enough. But I will say this, that in the Zack Snyder's Justice League, when people saw him in that at the very end, in that kind of a apocalyptic DC universe, people but some people actually that hate on his performance actually they kind of accepted him in a way, because his performance in that scene, a lot of people saw it, it was way better than what they showed in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. But also one of the problems that the reason why people didn't like it or they didn't care is because in David Ayer's Suicide Squad, his actual cut, the Ayer cut, Joker had much more screen time than what we have seen. He had much more screen time. Number one. Number two, I figured one of the here's the thing. Okay. Here's one problem that also was in that movie is the marketing, because they marketed the Joker so much for this movie that you kind of think okay, he's gonna be the main villain, but no, the Enchantress was the main villain, and I was like, okay, if she's the main villain, then why the fuck are you marketing the Joker so much?
So bad, the Enchantress.
Yeah, and David Ayer himself said that he regretted not making the Joker as the main villain. He regretted not doing it, because he was way more better than doing Enchantress, because the thing is, Suicide. Here's the thing: when you have Suicide Squad. Yes, they've been after so many different villains, but usually Suicide Squad, you usually have like grounded villains. Even though it's kind of ironic because they went up against Starro the Conqueror, but but usually like there are some occasions when they have some like supernatural cosmic threats, but like usually you have grounded villains, like they like for example you have the Suicide Squad going up against Deathstroke or Bane or Joker or Black Mask or I don't know, Tobias Whale. Like the point is that they should have used someone grounded,
Yeah.
And and I have to say, and again, Joker should have been the best pick to be kind of like this main villain. Not only that, but you could have also used that excuse to bring in a little bit more of Ben Affleck's Batman. Just saying. Because one of the questions that a lot of people have been asking, which after like a lot of thinking, because I didn't want to think about that, but like I get the logic. For example, all that shit was happening in the city, with Enchantress, the big hole in the sky, and all that. And people were wondering, where the fuck is the Justice League? Where the fuck is Batman? Where the fuck is Wonder Woman? Where the fuck is Superman? Like, why no one is doing anything? Like, okay. That part I agree, because when you have someone as Enchantress, usually you should have chose her as going up against the Justice League Dark.
Yeah,
that would have been a much more appropriate choice as a team where she can go up against. But like when it comes to Suicide Squad, again, they should have started smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, Starro the Conqueror, he was earned. His threat and his the big fight in the end was actually earned. All the build up and everything. Like first they were sent there to stop this like warlord, this dictator. And then basically another threat emerged, which was Starro, and that was earned. David Ayer's Suicide Squad did not. Like again, instead of choosing someone grounded, they went with Captain Wiggle Jiggle.
I mean, we obviously spoke about Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. I think just the treatment of them characters is where I have my biggest problems. Well, not my biggest problem, but one of the problems, because again, we are making comparisons because it's natural. But the big three in the MCU: Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. All three of them characters never ever feel like they're just chucked, thrown away. Wonder Woman was in a lot, was just cameoed in a lot, especially in the last year as well. She was in Shazam and The Flash.
Fear of the Gods.
Like
in The Flash, yes.
Yeah, so she was just cameoed in that, which was like, okay, great, but it's Wonder Woman. Like the Wonder Woman movie 1984 came out in 2020. For the 3 years after that, she was barely in it. Batman was thrown into the Suicide Squad and the Flash as a cameo. Like you said, never got his own movie. And then Superman,
and it's fucking Batman. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, let's just throw in the Batman cameo. And then Superman, obviously everything that happened with Henry Cavill, he was in my opinion one of the best parts about Black Adam.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about what happened in the final scene. I could have said, can I go to the 5 o'clock showing of Black Adam, please? And I could turn up at about 7 o'clock, sit in front row and then just watched all the people go in and just watch the final scene and gone, I like Black Adam, and walked out. Like, that's the only part of that movie that people were talking about, was who would show up at the end. And
yeah, but here's the thing.
The treatment of them three was awful. We've been waiting. Everyone waited 10 years for a Man of Steel 2. We never got it. Everyone waited for another, Batman, at least a Batman movie in this series. We never got it. Wonder Woman, was supposed to have Wonder Woman 3. That was being chucked around, and then we'll just chuck her in cameos, and then it'll be done. Treated so poorly, them 3 main characters. Again, 3 very popular superheroes just chucked in as jokes.
Exactly, because not just simply that. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are the 3 main symbols and mascots of the DC universe. Like, they represent the DC universe. And I agree, the way how they were treated was like, I have to say, it was insulting. Like seriously, like okay. I mean, I get introducing new characters, like, and all that. I get it, but you have to use the main 3, for God's sake. Like, that's why, like for example, James Gunn. That's why I'm happy that James Gunn is in charge of the new DC universe, because he's gonna handle the main 3. I can guarantee you, he will handle them like with respect and the way how they deserved.
He cares. He cares about characters. He cares about the stories, and he makes you feel like characters where, like Groot in Guardians and King Shark in the Suicide Squad. Like, these are animals. These are like just like where you should really care for raccoons and trees.
Exactly,
it's these characters where he makes them really grounded, really relatable, and you feel like you just like. I like you, and I like who you are, and I think that that's going to show within this next DC universe, is that it's just going to be that feeling from all these characters and very much interwoven with these stories, because he cares about characters.
Yeah, and also, like, one of the problems I had, I'm going back to Batman v Superman, when it comes to castings, like, there's one problem, and I think we're both on the same page on this one. One problem I had with one casting problem I had, because it was really weird, because he didn't fit, was Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I mean,
too comedic.
Not just simply too comedic, but like, he was too crazy, too like bonkers, like disturbed,
flamboyant. He was dramatic.
Okay, flamboyant, dramatic, over the top. Like, I'm like, I mean, I get, okay, I watched the Zack Snyder interviews, and I get why he did what he did, and which direction he wanted to bring Lex Luthor. Okay, it was his vision, his idea. I respect it, but still, that didn't scream to me Lex Luthor. Like, because Lex Luthor, like, he is grounded, he is balanced, like, he has gravitas, like he is someone grounded and real. Like, he's a master manipulator / businessman / supervillain with incredible wealth and power and intelligence, who hates Superman. He will do anything to destroy him. I mean, seriously, like, actually who Zack Snyder should have picked as Lex Luthor, not Jesse Eisenberg, fucking Mark Strong. He would have been way more better Superman, Lex Luthor than Jesse Eisenberg. I mean, anyone can be better than Jesse Eisenberg, but still. And again, I hate roasting Jesse Eisenberg, because I really love the actor. I really like him, But
there's a scene in Batman vs Super where I hate it so much. It's that scene where it's his party and he invites both of them.
Oh, to the party, yeah,
and they're like, and they're having like Batman and Superman. Like, I think you really see them as just not. They see him as Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, and like, you're really seeing that they're already not agreeing as people rather than heroes in their values. And I'm like, this is awkward. Like, this has got like really high tension, and obviously Wonder Woman's in the background, and like they're going, who the hell's that? So you sort of feel like that it's heightened, and then you hear him screech the loudest possible, like, Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love bringing people together. And I'm like, oh, shut up, go away. Like, he's like, and then he shakes his hand and he makes a joke, and he just goes, oh, you would not want to pick a fight with this person. I thought, yeah, all right, yeah, great. Like, you've just ruined it completely.
Or for example, there's another thing that I didn't like, that the confrontation between Superman and Lex Luthor when they were at the top of the building. They were on the roof.
Yeah.
And basically, like, okay, everything, okay, like, even though he was, like, you can see in the tone of his voice, you can see he was, like, deranged, like, unhinged, and he was, like, a maniacal a little bit. Like, You can sense that, But the one thing that destroyed for me that scene, like let's see, like those little moments, like for example when it's like, yes I do. I'm gonna fight for that special lady in your life. I'm like, why did you do that? Like, or even like, I don't know, nobody tell me. Like, I was like, why is he so hysterical?
And then he goes into like being a wrestling commentator because he goes like the Man of Steel versus the Bat of Gotham, and I'm like, you're not in WWE, you're not a wrestling commentator. Please be quiet. Like every time he was on the screen was just agonizing.
Not just simply his personality, but even the dialogue that he had. Like, it wasn't. I mean, again, I'm not bullshitting Zack Snyder. Okay, like he's a great director. He really is, and I get the idea where he wanted to go, but like. That wasn't Lex Luthor, like, because I'm not saying all of them, but some of the dialogue that he had, it wasn't Lex Luthor. Like it's not something that he would actually say, Like he wouldn't say, like I said, he wouldn't say like, in that scene that you mentioned, like, wow, there's a good grip. You should not pick a fight with this guy. Like he would never say that, like, or basically when he was playing like basketball. And he was like, ahoy, 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 welcome to LexCorp. I'm like, I was like, okay, like, no, even if they chose like a Smallville, like, even if they chose like a Smallville younger Lex Luthor, even that Lex Luthor wouldn't say like, oh, ahoy, 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 welcome to LexCorp. I'm, come on, I'm like that's not him. Like, it's so for me, yeah, like ahoy, 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 like. I'm like, come on.
You said it better than him. You said it much better than him.
Yeah, like he was like, playing basketball, and then basically sees I know the actress who played that senator and the other guy who was with her. He saw them, and and again for the third time, he's playing basketball, and he's like, oh, ahoy, 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 welcome to LexCorp. Like,
I can't wait for like. I can't wait to watch like Michael Jordan play basketball, and then him like after he does a free throw goes ahoy, ahoy, ahoy. Like that would just be really funny. Like, oh god.
And again, and also not only that, but also even those little moments, like where was it? Which one were it? Like for example, oh my god, okay, the one scene that really irritated me is like, the bell cannot be unrung. He's hungry, and he's coming. Ding 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 ding. I mean, I'm like, he's not a lunatic. Like,
would you say that was the? Would you say he was the worst? And I'm going to be very specific in my question here. Do you think he was the worst DCEU villain that was just purely a human? Because obviously Enchantress is up there, but she's kind of like, she's took over by like this power. And then like a lot of these are very fantasy based. Do you think he's the worst villain as just a pure human, like trying to cause problems?
Okay, now hear me out on this one. Okay, the only problem I have with Lex Luthor, like or Lex Luthor Jr., as he was called, the only problem I had with him is the mannerism and some of the dialogue. But like as a villain, for me personally, he is above Enchantress. And let me explain why. Okay, let me explain why. Because I give him credit for like organizing the attacks, the building the hatred between Superman and Batman, manipulating them, kidnapping Martha Kent, and and basically like trying his best to destroy Superman, and also creating Doomsday, and he's like connection. So for that, I give him credit as a villain, like basically planning all of this. I give him credit. For that. So for me personally, he is above Enchantress, because like I said, Enchantress, she did nothing. She just simply did this big cloud and wiggling her ass like she was playing, she was dancing the samba or something.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, she's like,
yeah, I mean,
seriously, you have like the samba rhythm, which is like, and she's like, yeah, like it's every time when she's like this, like it's like not, it's not like,
I don't think she did that, did she?
No, she did. She did a movement like that when she was like, the magic rises. Like the way she said it, like in the movement, it's like seriously, it's like a fucking dancing competition. It's like a dance fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I just say I've known Lord of Shadows now for 4 years. I've never ever seen him do something as creepy as that. That is going to be in my that's going to be in my brain and on YouTube for all
I'm
time.
sorry. I'm
The
sorry.
hour mark.
I was trying
Click
just
the hour
to.
mark and you'll be fine. Just get back in that clip that up. That was absolutely brilliant.
I was just trying to, in details, describe the scene. Okay,
You
like
were
I wasn't
freaking
like.
people out.
I'm not trying to like show you some signals or something. Like
Get this
seriously.
get this man to 100 subscribers, please, just based on that.
If I'm that lucky. But either way, like so yeah, he is above Enchantress. I think like let me just try because I have an album with all the DC villains, the DC extended universe. I mean, let me just try to see who is at the bottom. Just give me a second.
Why you do that, guys? I do believe that I've just got an exclusive. It's not an exclusive but James Gunn has just put this on his Instagram 14 minutes ago, and his eyes have just popped up now. And obviously, so this is sent to me by a really good friend of mine, Harry, who sends me loads of stuff. He keeps me in the loop in terms of movie and TV news. But he's just sent me this from the same as you do. From James Gunn's official Instagram. He says, after the table read with the Superman cast, Eve, Mr. Terrific, Superman / Clark, Otis, Lex, producer, Peter Safran, Jimmy, Metamorpho, Lois, Hawkgirl, me, Guy, the engineer, all together for the first time. What a wonderful day. And he's just posted that photo on his official Instagram of all of them together. So that's
wonderful.
a table read. That's a table.
You see, even with this picture, you can feel the energy, the positivity, the teamwork that James Gunn has created.
Yeah,
like way more better than what what DC Extended Universe did. Like just with that picture, But also, I will say this: the very last on my list, because he didn't do shit, is unfortunately because I really like him in the comic books. I really like this villain in the comic books, but he's like my lowest one, which is of course Mr. Mind. He's the lowest on my list because he didn't do shit. And they could have done a lot of things with him. But of course, no. He chose fucking he chose like to bring like completely new villains, taken from the Greek mythology, instead of instead of building up to Black Adam. I'm not even mentioning what he did. I mean, seriously, the credit scene with Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind, and instead of using them, you used fucking Hespera and like the other sister from the Greek mythology. I mean, the daughters of Atlas. I mean, seriously. I mean, with all the respect to Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren, of course, but
yeah,
they could have played like actual villains, but no, he wanted to do something original. Oh god. Anyway, what else I wanted to say? I would say for me, that's a question also for you, but I'm gonna start first. The bright light for me for the DC Extended Universe, for me, when it comes to movies, the bright light, which is very, very weak, but there is one, is the I'll go with this. Is the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, the two Shazam movies, because I like them both, even though the second one did have some problems, but I did like them both. Blue Beetle, and let me see. The first Aquaman movie. Those five for me are the sixth one, Wonder Woman. Those six for me are the bright light of the DC Extended Universe.
Okay.
Honorable mention for me is Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Man of Steel, you're not putting that up there?
Oh shit, yeah, that's also one of the bright lights. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry, my bad. Man of Steel is definitely one of the bright lights. Sure.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. What are your bright lights?
Well, is this going to reveal my list? Is this going to reveal my?
Oh, right. You know, because I'm just gonna went all over the place.
Okay.
I just felt like I just felt like you can kind of briefly say like your bright lights, but okay, we'll leave that for like the worst to best list. We're gonna leave it when we get to there.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to ask you.
Go on.
I want to ask you now because now we have been ranting all over the place about the D610 universe, like almost everyone does. But I want to ask you, with the exception of Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot as like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, besides them,
yeah,
which cast members to you were like your favorite your favorite and the ones that you think that were like spot on when it comes to character portrayal?
I mean, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn was a gift that
remarkable gift
that we didn't deserve, and that's not just the costume. I'd say that despite the movie being massively hated, I do think the Suicide Squad's all pretty spot on, with Jai Courtney and Deadshot as Will Smith as Deadshot. As soon as you get Will Smith in your movie, it's just charisma flowing always. So I think that was great. And obviously then the sequel, with James Gunn, very different in tone. But then you have Idris Elba, who he's such a cool guy. John Cena. I actually watched an interview with CM Punk, and he was saying that he read about James Gunn when he said about John Cena being the best, just off the cuff actor that he's worked with. And people were like, I got it because of what he did in wrestling, where a lot of it is just off the cuff and just trying, stuff like that. So
pretend.
Yeah, that was great. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to pick a villain because I do think that there are, looking at the list, I'm really Zachary Levi worked as Shazam as well. I'm not a big fan of Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, but villains are quite difficult because we have just been negatively talking about Jesse Eisenberg. I'd give a shout out to Patrick Wilson as King Orb. I don't like him in Aquaman 2, but I think the first one, I think he did really well. I think he got, and that the way that character was written as well, and the themes of Aquaman very gave me a Game of Thrones type feel, and sort of this like brothers fighting together, fighting against each other. These different worlds were not respecting each other. Yes, they did do an advertisement about not chucking rubbish in the sea, which, by the way, you shouldn't do. But I like how that was intermittent in the film. But yeah, I'd give a shout out to that in a villain sense. And Michael Shannon as well, actually. I think he was good in Man of Steel. Not as good as in Flash, but Michael Shannon as Zod, as Man of Steel was up there. Yeah, I wanted to sort of lean more closer on the villains because I think that often gets really overlooked. Oh, well, actually, Ewan McGregor in Birds of Prey I don't think was terrible. I think he was middle. I think he was middle of the pack, but I don't think he was terrible.
I have some problems with that.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it was amazing, but I don't think it was bad. It wasn't terrible, but yeah, for me, I think the bright spot is probably Patrick Wilson and Michael Shannon as the villains. See, I don't think Wonder Woman's ever had a decent villain. Even in the first one, I don't think the Wonder Woman villains particularly was a bright spot. But yeah, I think there's definitely been some solid casting. I think that's got to be a positive of the DCEU is the casting. I think was every project at least had one or two good castings. I mean, Wonder Woman, Chris Pine and Steve Trevor was good. So I think in every project you at least had one or two decent casting choices.
Yeah. Everything you said, like when it comes to the actors, like you mentioned, yeah, like all of them were like really spot on when it comes to like the casting, and because just like I said at the beginning, D16 Universe had a list of so many great casting choices, and not all of them, but the majority of them were spot on when it comes to the characters. I'm gonna give a shout to with every again, with the exception of Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill, because both of them were like masterpiece, all three of them. But outside of them, with all of them, you say like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Will Smith as Deadshot. He was really great. Although a lot of people basically saw him as Fresh Prince of Bel Air with guns, but okay, I don't give a shit about that. But okay, like Deadshot, he was great. I mean, come on, the great John Cena. Like, I'm sorry, I had to do that.
No, you didn't. No, you did not. You did not have to do that at all. But it's your channel. It's your channel. Oh, I can't. Hang on. Do it again. I can't see Alan. Where's Alan gone? I can't see a lot of shadows. Oh, he's back.
Right.
I see for a minute there while you were doing that, I couldn't see. Could you see me now, or can you?
Yes, I can still hear you. I can still see you.
Oh.
No, wait. Wait, just a minute. Why are those headphones floating? Where the fuck is Kieran? Where the fuck? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Oh, nice.
For a moment, like you disappeared. The only thing I saw was like this shirt and those headphones like floating. I mean, what?
They're good headphones, though, aren't they? They're good headphones.
Oh yeah, really good. Oh god.
That's what
anyway,
man.
Anyway, like John Cena as Peacemaker, like he was really, he was fantastic. I mean, he was one of the best elements of the Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn did. Like he was one of the best.
Yeah.
Idris Elba as Blood.
I forgot. Sorry, go on, carry on. I'm going to find their name. Sorry, that was very rude of me.
No problem. Okay, so basically, also Idris Elba as Bloodsport. He was also really good as well. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Like he was really great. Michael Shannon, I do agree with you. He was really great as General Zod as well. Patrick Wilson as the Ocean Master. He was also really good. There's one other Aquaman character that you forgot. But I still think in both movies he was fantastic, and that's the guy. I can't pronounce his name. I always butcher it. But the guy who played Black Manta, he was really good. I really liked him in both movies. I know with your face you didn't like him in the second one, but but in both movies, for me personally, he was great. He was a really spot on choice for Black Manta. Also, another one I want to add is Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. He was also really good in Black Adam.
Yeah.
He was the only member of the Justice Society of America that I really, really liked. He was the only one.
I did like the one that led it. He was annoying.
You mean the Atom Smasher?
Yeah, no, not Atom Smasher. He was all right. He was okay.
You talk about Hawkman.
Yeah, he was. I didn't like him.
Well, yeah, but like honestly, the actor actually he was also pretty good as well. I mean, when it comes to portraying Hawkman, like he was good. Cyclone, the girl who portrayed Cyclone, she was also fine as well. But my favorite one of the JSA was Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. Like he was really good.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson. Well, Dwayne Johnson, anyhow. Dwayne Johnson will always be Dwayne Johnson. Like, that's it. Even though personally, like, I mean, you have to admit, Zachary Levi going up against Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I mean, come on. Everyone would love to see that. Those two fighting each other. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, don't tell me you don't want to see that.
Yeah,
seriously.
It would have worked really well. Just to mention quickly, the actress that I missed off that I thought was a really, really great part of the Suicide Squad was Daniela. I'm definitely going to butcher this name. Daniela Melchior, who played Ratcatcher 2. She was good in the Suicide Squad.
She was good as well.
Great character.
She was good. Yeah, great character. great character. I do agree. She was also good. You know, actually, who I also gonna give a shout, even though she didn't talk too much, but I appreciate the actress who played Katana. She was also fine. She was also solid in the first
Yeah,
Suicide
she did.
Squad movie.
Yeah. There was
She
just
was
four.
solid.
There was just 4 lines of dialogue that complemented her whole character arc, and then that was it. Her character
Yeah,
development was within 4 lines. It was like the quickest character development of all time.
yeah. I mean, I know that Katana she was in the comics part of the Suicide Squad, but honestly, for me personally, I always kind of saw her with like a team like Teen Titans, for example, like or just the Titans. Like I always saw her in that team, not the Suicide Squad, you know. And also, she's actually she's also in the comics. She's a complex character, so you know, like I know that David Ayer did his best to kind of like show who she is, but like still, you know, and also not to mention she has the Soul Taker sword. I mean, which is also a big deal when it comes to her backstory. But like, you know, I'm not gonna go deeper into that. But she was fine as well. She was solid. Let's see. Oh, okay. The guy who played Blue Beetle, spot on.
I was just going to mention we've not spoke about anything about Blue Beetle yet.
Blue Beetle, like okay, the guy who played Sarafax, the indestructible man, the villain, the henchman of that businesswoman.
Yeah.
He was like, for me personally, in that movie, he was a way more compelling villain than that shithead of a businesswoman.
Yeah, but no, the actor that played Blue Beetle, Jolo Marijuana, who is in Cobra Kai, yeah,
he was great.
I cannot wait to see more of Blue Beetle because that is, even though that's not the first film in the DC universe, it's the first character that they're introducing in this. So that was the brightest spark of DCEU in 2023. The best part of it. It was
Blue Beetle.
I really enjoyed that movie.
And also, I just want to say this, okay? I know that the movie was kind of like a Frankenstein thing, but I'm also giving applauses to the Flash, Ezra Miller. He oh my god! Oh, I'm keeping that. I am keeping. Put them on.
Yes, boss.
Okay, I'm glad that you understood that. You know, and I'm not your boss. Okay, I'm a fellow council member and your friend. So
You're the leader. You're the leader.
Or whatever. Look, in the Zack Snyder's I'm not talking about the theatrical Justice League. I'm talking about the Zack Snyder's Justice League. I kind of like his portrayal of the Flash, and in the movie, for me personally, he was fine. He was actually pretty good as the Flash. There were some moments that kind of like, you know, that was kind of ridiculous, you know, but you have to realize that Barry Allen, aka the Flash, he can also be a comedic superhero as well, you know. But overall, you know, I think like his portrayal, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna say he was like magnificent, but like, you know, but he was a decent Flash. But I will say this, and I don't give a shit if people say I'm in denial or full of shit in general, but I would prefer much more Ezra Miller's Flash than Grant Gustin. There, I said it.
What? No.
Let me explain.
Okay, yeah.
Because I got tired of Grant Gustin's Flash because he was too depressive, too dramatic, like no sense of humor, no energy, nothing. He was always depressed, always like, you know, oh, someone betrayed me, oh, this happened to me, all this. Like, he wasn't the Flash for me. There, I said it. I mean, he wasn't the Flash for me. Like the one I know.
Worse. It got in his heyday, in the dominant days of the Flash as a TV show. I think he was absolutely fantastic. It got when as soon as like 6, 7 8 and 9, I think, was the seasons where it was just getting ridiculous. Like giving the Flash lightsabers in that show was the stupidest decision I've ever seen in my life. Plus, that's shocking CGI, by the way.
Yeah.
But no, Grant Gustin for me is a really good Flash. They did ruin it towards the end, but Ezra Miller's just got Ezra Miller's got his own problems.
I'm sorry. Just saying about the portrayal of Ezra of the Flash. I'm sorry to say this again and again and again, but Grant Gustin for me as the Flash, he was too serious as the Flash. I'm sorry to say, because in the comics or in the anime movies, you can read or watch anywhere. The Flash was not always serious or dramatic or depressed. He was one of those. He was basically. Yes, in the comics, in every single storyline, the Flash has some like moments where he's like, depressed, sad, serious, of course. But he was always kind of like, one of the lighter members of the Justice League. Like he was always the one who was kind of like the comic relief, on the team. He was always the one, making jokes, like, say, hey, hi, how are you doing? Like he was always that, kind of like one of the brighter members of the Justice League, and I'm sorry. I mean, Ezra Miller, I'm not saying his full performance was great. No, but there was some moments of his Flash that for me worked because he was like in the comics than Grant Gustin. I'm sorry to say this because for me, he was way too serious, way too depressing and way too dramatic. I'm sorry. And again, I'm not shitting on the actor. Okay. He is a talented actor, and there was a lot of moments. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of moments in the show, as far as I went, because after season four, I gave up. I only watched
checked out.
What?
You mentally checked out. You had enough.
Exactly. Like after season 4, it's literally I had enough. After he defeated the Thinker, I had enough. And don't get me wrong. There are some moments where his performance as the Flash, was really good. There are a lot of moments. I am like that. I'm not taking away. That's for sure.
That's fair enough.
But again, he didn't hit all for the majority of the time. He didn't hit the right elements that what makes the Flash. I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry.
No,
and I know there's gonna be a lot of people coming out of my ass, but like coming after my ass. I know, but. Ezra Miller, I'm sorry, like he hit way more points as the Flash than Grant Gustin. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
It makes sense. It makes sense, but I do think that the performances of Ezra Miller in the movies that we got, not to count Suicide Squad because he was only in it for about 45 seconds, but
yeah,
I think Justice League, was fine, but it had its own problems with that movie. The Flash, I don't like that movie whatsoever. I had real problems with that movie. So I don't think his movies really gives it a lot of credibility where I can go, yeah, fantastic. Every time I've seen him in, I've just not liked his performance at all. But I think that there is some problems with Grant Gustin's one, don't get me wrong, but I do think in his heyday, that dominant days of the Flash, I don't think anybody could knock it. I think it was really good. But no, it just got too much, too stupid, too quickly on the CW shows, which, by the way, is now all done as well. So the Arrowverse is done as well. So maybe that's the next one, the legacy of the Arrowverse, the funeral of that one.
I don't know, but I will say this, that also another shout out, because I have to give is, oh man, it was really great to see him back. Is Michael Keaton as Batman. I have
the best part of that whole movie. Yeah, the best part of that whole movie. But no, I have my other problems.
The actress who played Supergirl, she was okay. She was fine.
Yeah, written so poorly. She was just like, I don't know.
I mean,
and now it's not even
again.
Her.
Look. Since we're talking about kind of like a multiverse thing, well, different timelines actually, I can kind of understand. This could be like a different Supergirl. But for me personally, again, she was too serious. And Supergirl, again, sometimes she's serious, but she's more lighter. Like she's more, let's just say, jollier in a way.
Yeah.
Like for example, okay, the actress who portrayed her in Arrowverse. Now
Melissa
that
Benoist.
for me,
Melissa
now
Benoist.
she for me was Supergirl.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing the new actress that they've casted. Like, she was fantastic
Double-
in House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, double thumbs up to that girl who's gonna play Supergirl. And I'm wishing her all her luck. And basically, I
Gonna be
hope
good.
that she gonna knock it out of the park.
Have you seen House of the Dragon?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's
The only
fantastic.
I just want to say it's the it's the only thing of Game of Thrones I actually enjoyed.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry
great
because
show.
Game of Thrones. I mean, with all the respect to George R.R. Martin and all the actors, but like Game of Thrones wasn't my thing. I was never
No,
interested in Game of Thrones.
it's very
But
unique. It's very specific to
it is.
like
It is.
a certain audience.
Yeah, and also, but House of the Dragon, honestly, just because I would say this actually before I go to House of the Dragon, just for a second, like the only thing that in Game of Thrones I found it interesting was the Targaryens. That's the only thing I found interesting. Like, they really sound like a very interesting family,
Yeah.
and that's why I loved even more House of the Dragon because it was about the Targaryens, and that part, like I said, that part of the Game of Thrones series was the only thing I actually enjoyed, and I cannot wait for season 2.
There is Film Review Central, Lord of Shadows on House of the Dragon. Now
Exactly. Now, walking away, like she was fine. Let's see. Well, the actress who played Faora, the second in command of General Zod, she was also fine. She was also okay. Let's see which other shoutouts I can give. Let me think. Okay, of course. Okay, Lois Lane. She was also pretty good.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, Amy Adams. Yeah, definitely.
She was also pretty good. Well casted. Honestly, like also well, no, actually, I can't say because he only showed very briefly in the end. I was talking about the Martian Manhunter, but like he showed up very briefly, and it's a story on itself. But basically, yeah, I think like if they kept the same actor for Martian Manhunter, I think like I will think like he was a good choice.
Yeah. I agree with that one. Yeah.
If they continue with that DC extended universe, I thought he would be a great choice. Let's see. Shit. I mean, like I said, most of the cast was fine, but like for me personally, if I had to give some shout outs, like I said, the ones that you said, that I said, alongside the main three, which are Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Gal Gadot, I think that those for so far are the only shout outs I can give because like most of them were like solid. Willem Dafoe was solid. Dolph Lundgren was solid. Mark Strong was solid. I really enjoyed actually seeing him kind of like playing an over-the-top villain.
Yeah,
that was really good. Also another shout out I'm gonna give the Shazam family. They were also pretty good.
Yeah. Some of them annoyed me in the second one, but no, the first one definitely was solid.
The only problem I had with actually I'm gonna keep that for the ranking.
Yeah.
But so when it comes to casting again, like everyone did the majority of them like I said were great. Some of the other ones they were solid. They were pretty much solid. But like
Tiberu Morrison as Aquaman's dad, I thought was fine.
Yeah, he was fine as well. And also, personally, I was really happy to see him back in movies, outside Star Wars.
Yeah.
He was also pretty solid, as a choice for his father. Also, I mean, of course, how can I fucking forget Jason Momoa as Aquaman? I mean, he was one of my highlights for me personally in the second movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Go do your business. Let's see. Hmm. All right, and we're back. And we're back in action. Okay. You feel elevated now, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to talk about that on the stream, but yeah, feeling good now. Thank you.
That's good. That's also pretty good. Yeah. Also, another thing I wanted to mention about the DC extended universe that I personally thought was great. I will admit it had a lot of great action sequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of action sequences. Like, what if I had to pick one of my top favorites? One of my top favorites is definitely Batman. In the warehouse in Batman v Superman. That was a really great. That was a really great battle sequence. Also, I love that scene with Peacemaker and Bloodsport showing off. I love that sequence.
Yeah, I liked the better one of that was Peacemaker and Rick Flag.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I agree. That was also a great battle.
That was
Really
great.
That was great. Also, I also loved the battle between Superman and General Zod.
Yeah,
I thought that was a great battle between them. And also one of the things I love that Zack Snyder showed is that how much destruction that battle caused. When it comes to Metropolis. Which is actually something realistic when you have two Kryptonians. It's very realistic.
Yeah, I think Wonder Woman's when she goes over no man's land, I think was good.
Good. Yeah. From the soundtrack when she stood up and everything. Oh yeah, that was really great. That was really great. What did you thought of? I want to ask you. What did you thought of the fight between Wonder Woman and Ares?
I didn't like the third act of Wonder Woman. I think it was pretty weak. As a final act, so I didn't particularly like it. Obviously, it was heightened with spoiler Steve Trevor dying. So I think that's what heightened that third act. I thought it was okay, just pretty weak because I was a big fan of Wonder Woman. I really liked the first film, so I definitely think it was on the drop from that one. So yeah, that one's for me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Let's see. Like which ones I can choose also. Oh, I mean, also I really like the battle between Aquaman and Orm, the Ocean Master.
Yep.
I really like that battle sequence as well. That
Yep.
was also
Nothing wrong with
pretty
that.
good.
Nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. I think
the
the
fight.
fact in Shazam at the end, with when all the kids get their
Yeah,
powers, I
that
think
was
that one
great.
was good. That one was good.
Yeah, that was really good. I do agree on that. That was really good. Also, the ones I also want to mention is I also loved the battle between Batman and Superman.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, that part, like from the rain when he went down and all of that. And even though I do agree with the majority that the that Martha thing was unnecessary. Why did you say that name? Okay, that was a little bit dumb.
So stupid to put that in.
Yeah, because like because even when I'm for real right now because even though I love that movie, like when I was watching it the first time in the theater, that scene with like he's gonna kill Martha and he's like, what? Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name? Even in that time, I was like, the fuck, like like the point of that scene was what, like
Just to remind you, that they both have the same name.
oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, something that
How
I knew,
helpful.
yeah, how really helpful, and also something that a lot of people, including myself, who read the comics and saw the other like interpretations, we knew that a long time ago, way before the movie. We knew that Superman's foster mother is Martha Kent, and Bruce and Batman's mother is Martha Wayne. Ooh,
Yeah.
we knew all that a long time ago. You know,
I think we did mention Digimon Hunsu in Shazam as the wizard. I think he was solid.
yeah, he was solid. I would say he was solid in both movies.
Little drop off in Shazam 2, but he didn't have much to do. I think the first Shazam was important for him to set the story and the structure. Yeah, but like you said, I don't think he was bad in any of the way. Like Jesus, this is not good.
Yeah, exactly. That I mean, there's a lot of fights. I mean, also I just have to mention like one of the fights I would say, I'm not gonna say it's one of the best, but I did enjoy was Black Adam versus Incubus. Versus Succubus.
Yeah, Incubus.
It wasn't like one of the best, but it was enjoyable. Like it was
I
fun.
just I have so many problems with that film. I can't really give it much positives. But yeah,
Oh my god! That I think you and I we're gonna have a big conversation when we go to the worst to the best.
I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
but I just want to say when I said that thing about Ezra Miller when you took the headphones down, like that was priceless. That
Thank
was
you.
priceless.
Thank you.
Just like Blasphemous HD in his YouTube videos. He will usually say, "Oh, we're gonna cut it out," and then he keeps it. And I was trying to say like basically instead of saying we're gonna cut it out, I'm gonna like, oh, we're gonna keep that. No, that was priceless. And also your reaction when I said about that thing about Grant Gustin, your reaction again, priceless.
This is why I'm here. This is why you invite me, I'm sure.
So I mean, again, I know that this conversation is going to be crazy because I have a feeling you and I will have different views on a lot of things.
That's why I love movies. That's why I love talking about films.
Exactly. But one thing is with you is that at least we can have a civilized conversation.
Of course.
Bonkers,
respect.
bonkers, crazy. Sometimes even like we can swear, but at least civilized.
No. Swearing is your thing. I'm just
But that's what I meant, like swearing on my part.
Nice.
Yeah, but still, like civilized conversation.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, or should I say civilized fucking conversation?
Really having that point home about the swearing.
Oh god. Anyway, like yeah. So, but in general, like we can agree that the DC extended universe had a lot of like interesting and good fights.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go with that. Let's stay with that.
yeah, yeah. And also, I want to ask you one quick thing. What did you thought of the overall like costumes of the characters?
I don't really look into that as much as other people, I will admit, but
No, no.
yeah,
I'm
I
just
liked
curious.
it.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I
No,
want
no,
to see
no, no.
your interpretation.
They were fine. They were fine. I don't really have a striking problems with them. But I thought they were okay. Obviously, the one that I think doesn't get mentioned enough is the Aquaman thing, how different it is. But you can't put Jason Momoa in something as comedic as that. You've got to make him look as sexy as possible. But yeah, apart from that one being vitally different, like I said, I don't really look at this type of thing as it being dramatically different for me. But yeah, no, they were fine.
No, I mean, like I said, I know you don't look at those things. Like, for example, maybe I do, but I was still kind of curious to hear your point of view on that. Like, I like what you think. Even though, like, again, I know that you're a guy that you don't look at those things. But I still want to hear your opinion. For me personally, like the majority, not all of them, the majority of the costumes for me were really good and very comic book accurate for the majority from a majority of the DC universe, because there is still a lot of like costumes that I was like on the like 50-50 or like no, they're awful. For me personally, like actually which movie had the worst costumes? For me personally, like, could you have a guess? Can you hear me? The hell? Looks like we have some technical difficulties, folks. Any minute now. Don't worry, we'll be back on. I hope. Hmm. Any minute now. Hmm. Oh,
I think I'm all right now. I think I'm.
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry, folks. Looks like we have some problems with the microphone. And we'll be back after these messages. Let's have a word from our sponsor while you wait. While we wait for everything to be fixed. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, looks like we lost our fellow council member, but they told me that he'll be back very soon. Just a sec. Sorry, guys, for all these inconvenience. Looks like, unfortunately, we have some technical difficulties. My colleague looks like has some problems with the microphone. We'll try to get it fixed in no time. Okay.
There we go. Technical difficulties. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, don't worry. I said that as well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Everything is.
Okay,
is
good. I was basically the last thing I said. Which movie would you guess, for me personally, had the worst costumes in the entire DC Extended Universe?
I think just by the sheer amount of costumes, I'd say Suicide Squad.
No.
Really?
It's actually
Black Adam?
No. I know.
Black Adam?
I was just. Go ahead.
I'm gonna. Can I have two more guesses? Two more guesses.
Go ahead.
Black Adam.
No.
Okay, last one, and I gotta reveal it. Is it Birds of Prey?
Yes. The
Got
worst.
it on the last one.
Yeah, like third time's the charm. Yeah, the Birds of Prey for me had the worst costumes in the DC Extended Universe I've ever seen. Like, I mean, again, with all the respect to the actresses, but like, Huntress looked awful. Black Canary looked awful. Montoya, well, she's a cop, so she was fine. Harley Quinn looked awful. Victor Zsasz, meh, he was fine. But I'm sorry about Black Mask, man. But like Black Mask looked awful. Awful. But I'm gonna get into detail when we go to the worst to best thing.
Yeah, of course.
Which, surprise, surprise, all of you audience who are out there watching, it's happening now.
Now.
The worst to best part, that basically my fellow council member was waiting all this time, because oh boy, like this is gonna be a really fun conversation, because I'm telling you guys, this is where the renting starts. Oh yeah, I mean, I know that we all like talk about like actors and characters and story wise and connectivity, and like what's wrong, what's not, what's wrong, what's good. Like, oof, how much things we said that is wrong. But now we're going to the nitty gritty bit. Yeah. So, Kieran, tell me, my friend, FRC, are you going first?
No, you go first. It's your channel. Are we going from like 17 to 1, or are we going like?
No. We're going from worst to best, which means from 17 to 1.
Yeah, but are we doing it all in one go, or are we doing a couple, then letting the other person go, and vice versa?
Are you okay if we go like one each?
Yeah, let's do one each. Yeah, let's do one each.
I think that'll be a lot more easier.
I agree.
Okay, so I'll go first. Now, which is number 17. Okay, which is
Absolutely.
Of course, the worst. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so basically, I think we're gonna be on the same page on this one. Okay, so number 17 is, of course, drummers, please. Boom. Thank you. Justice League, the theatrical cut. I think we're both on the same page on this one, right? No. Really?
I know, I know it. I know that I said, didn't I? I said
Oh my god.
that.
For me is the worst one. Okay, give me
Yeah,
yours. Give me yours. Come on.
it's a flip though. It's a flip. Like you could flip them easily, and it doesn't matter. Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2 The Lost Kingdom. You're putting
Yeah,
it all the way down.
yeah. My God, like
Wow. Wow. I
yeah.
mean, for me personally, the movie wasn't that bad. Okay, but okay. Look, it's your list, your choices. Wow, but still, like, wow. Anyway, like the theatrical cut of Justice League, I mean, like, there's a lot of things wrong with that. Like, first and foremost, cutting from 4 hours to 2 hours. Like you can feel when you're watching the theatrical version, you feel things being forced and things that are missing. You can feel it when you're watching it. The only thing I will say this: the only thing that is positive, like I said, remember when I told you there are two lines that Steppenwolf said that I really liked. They were like real supervillain lines, which are like when he was having one of those people hostage. He's like, "Well, please, I have a family." He's like, "Why does everyone keep telling me that?" Like that's a great supervillain line. Second one, when he's like, this one is mine, and he's like, "Child, my axe is still slick with the blood of your sisters." I was like, "Oh, burn!" I was like, "That's a great supervillain line." That's the first thing that I liked. The only thing I liked in this movie, and the second one was the Steppenwolf design.
Yeah.
Because the Steppenwolf design in the theatrical version for me worked way more better and was way more closer to the Steppenwolf from the comics than what Zack Snyder did. Because for me personally, my problem I have with Zack Snyder, I'm gonna get in a minute to that, but like my problem with Zack Snyder's cut is that Steppenwolf and Desaad, like Darkseid and Granny Goodness, they were fine, but Desaad and Steppenwolf, they looked way too alien,
Yeah.
and for me that was like, that's not how it works when it comes to new gods, because like, new gods like are not aliens. I mean, oh sure, you can deform them a little bit, make them a little more uglier or demonic, yes, but not make them like full on alien. But anyway,
Yeah.
so for me personally, going back to the theatrical version, what Joss Whedon did with Justice League, oh my god. First and foremost, you can notice the original scenes and the reshoots. You can notice them. Number one. Number two, all those colors, they were not necessary. They were not necessary, all those colors. Also, that that family that lived in that toxic wasteland, I was like,
Yeah.
why would you put in there? Like seriously, they were not necessary at all. Like, why would Joss Whedon put in there? Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like that was the one thing. There were so many things. Also one of the, if I have to say, elements that I liked that was kind of like funny. That scene where Aquaman was sitting on the lasso of truth.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
So
That was hilarious. Okay, that was funny. Okay, that was funny. Also,
just gave him something to do. It just gave him something to do.
Yeah. Also, let's get the elephant out of the. Let's get the elephant in the room. The mustache. The CGI mustache.
Shocking.
The CGI mustache. I mean, I know the story that Tom Cruise told Henry
He said
Cavill.
no, didn't he? He's like,
Yeah,
no.
I mean, I know that Tom Cruise said to Henry Cavill and to Warner Bros. Like, if you dare to shave his mustache, I will sue you. Like I know that, but from the very first scene, that the recording, you can notice that the mustache were missing. You can notice that something was here. Jesus.
Oh, and it's the first scene in that movie as well. And it was
Yes.
just, it sets the tone to be like, it's like, oh, here we go.
Look,
This is not going to go well.
that recording, okay, that recording, which by the way, people were saying there was supposed to be Billy Batson who actually recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Billy Batson. So that scene was fine, but when you see this part, like you know something is missing, like
Yeah.
something is there, you know. And also, I mean, the way how he moved the lips, and also like when he was looking at him, like, "Do you bleed?" When Superman told Batman, you can notice the way he moved his mouth. You can notice the mustache are there. You can see it, you know. Oh my god, like, you know, that's the elephant in the room. I mean, like the mustache thing, you know.
So bad.
Yeah, and also the way how they handled Cyborg, that was also wrong, because the way how they handled Zack Snyder's cut, like the Cyborg, I mean, way better,
Yeah.
you know. But like, you know, and also another thing that I never understood, like you know, when Steppenwolf was talking to the mother boxes, you know, he's like, "Mother, millennia in exile, at last you call me home." Or like, "Yes, mother, I understand. You're hungry." I'm like, they're fucking boxes. Like, why the hell you're talking to them like they're real people? Like, that was also stupid, because like even the mother boxes were handled in the Snyder Cut way more better, you know. And also the removal of Darkseid, that was also stupid as well.
Yeah, it took away something so much in the film.
Yeah, and also, I mean, because the thing is, because one of my favorite positive sides of, ironically, even in this version, is Karen Hines' portrayal of Steppenwolf. Karen Hines is a very underrated actor, and the way how he voiced, well, actually played Steppenwolf, it was a really good performance. But like, you know, but again, I remember like when Karen Hines said like all those lines you heard in the theatrical cut, those are not my lines. Those are not the lines I said. Like oh my god, like seriously, oh god. And also, I just want to say, you know, when Steppenwolf was talking about, like, you know, "I will take my place along the new gods," and he's like, "For the unity," and then in that deep tone, "For Darkseid." Like what I'm trying to say is, did you notice the difference in the tone?
Massively,
Like,
massively.
Yeah, because like in the Snyder Cut, his voice was more modified. And in this one, you can actually hear Karen Hines, but like when he said "For the unity" and then "For Darkseid," I'm like, this, like, basically Joss Whedon took that line and put it together in the editing in that scene. You know, even with like the recording thing, even like the tone was different. Oh my god! And also, let's not forget the comedic Batman. Like, "Oh yeah, something's definitely bleeding," or "I don't like you," like "Holy shit, he's big." Like, what? I was like, that was something that Batman will never say. Or even like, "I hear you talk to fish." I'm like, okay. Anyway, so that's my. Do you want to share something with me with my disappointment with the movie, or you want to go directly to yours?
I'll go directly with mine.
Okay, go ahead.
It's. I mean, first of all, a coin flip, because I will reveal that the Justice League movie is in number 16. Okay. So it's not like it's in the top 3 or the top 5. So don't worry. But Aquaman 2, I think for me, just shown it's more the disgustingness of the way that they treated it. And because, and as we've mentioned, the first Aquaman movie grossed $1 billion. It was like unbelievable. And to have that 5 years later be the culmination of this it led to nothing. It had no impact. They all felt like they were on autopilot with the acting.
Mm-hmm.
The comedy in it was honestly shocking. I've never seen a comedy bit in the film be as forced as Patrick Wilson learning how to run because he's not done it for so long. And honestly, and I just think they gave up. I think that was my thing, was that they knew that it was coming to an end. They just forced it upon. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody had any aspirations to do it. I think Momoa's and Patrick Wilson's chemistry was all right. I didn't like Black Manta. I think there was more character progression and more character focus on the scientist in the film than anything else. Amber Heard was just chucked in and then thrown away when they found out about that court case. Like, you can visibly see that she was in that first act. And then I think it's just the greatest drop off between the first and the second film. And that's where I really, really struggled with it, was that, you know, they can't afford to expand on any of these characters because they know that it's just a throwaway. So for me, absolutely shocking. I have no positives to say about it. And it just lacked an ambition, direction. And they basically knew that they'd spent so much money on the movie that they can't just throw it away and just go, no, you're not having that now. It was too late to just throw away. So they had to chuck it on and just gone, here we go, we give you what we want. There was no care for the fans whatsoever. And yeah, I've got so many problems with Aquaman 2, and that's why it's in last place.
Well, this should be fun. Also, I respect your opinions. I get I get what you're saying and where you're targeting. But also, I just want to add, I'm not gonna add anything to Aquaman 2 because that's coming. That's coming. But anyway, I just want to also add one of the stupidest thing in Justice League, which is the reason why is on the bottom for me, is because of that fucking, like, they found the first two boxes, and then the next one, like, basically you just simply see this light like bing coming out of the sky, like, oh, Steppenwolf got it, man, he got here, well, fuck it, like, what, like, even that fucking scene with the third mother box, like, even that in the Snyder Cut was done way better. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I just wanted to mention that, you know, and also the humor in the Whedon's version. Some of the things were funny, like I said, like the Last of Truth, that was funny. That was funny. Also, some lines with Steppenwolf and the Steppenwolf's design, that also was really good. But overall, just like you said for Aquaman, I'm gonna say for Justice League, a complete mess, and that's why it's at the bottom. Okay, now I'm going with my 16th, which is going to be Birds of Prey.
Wow. Okay.
Birds of Prey is more like a little bit above my theatrical Justice League, and the reason why is because, first of all, I told you, like, first, the costumes, number one.
Yeah.
First are the costumes. Second, the story wasn't that good. Also the way how they treated Black Mask, I really was irritated. The way how they treated him, who is, by the way, one of my favorite Batman Rogues Gallery villains. They treated him like shit. I'm sorry if I'm being rough, but like, I didn't like the way how they handled him. Also, the dynamic between what was the girl's name that was with Harley Quinn? Oh shit! Let me just check. Just a second. Like, just a second.
Yeah,
Cassandra Cain. Yeah, that was Cassandra Cain. Yeah. I mean, seriously, like, I mean, seriously, you had Margot Robbie, Eva McGregor, Mary Elizabeth Winston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winston, who's, by the way, Ewan McGregor's wife. Journey Smollett, Ella J. Basco, and Rosie Perez. You had like really great actors in this movie. First and foremost, why the title? Birds of Prey, and then Fantabulous, blah, 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 whatever, Harley Quinn. Like, why would you, first and foremost, why would you put Harley Quinn as the main character in a Birds of Prey movie? Number one. That's my first problem. Like I said, the other problems I have is like some of the comedy didn't work for me, and oh my god, that all that shenanigans with that sandwich, that was also stupid. So stupid. I'm sorry, for me it was stupid. Like the no when it got squashed, I'm like, okay, whatever. And also, okay, going back to Ewan McGregor, Black Mask. That's the main reason why I didn't like it. Because the way how they handled him, first and foremost, Black Mask is not like, ooh, yeah, woohoo. Like, he's not like that energetic. The guy is a motherfucking cold-blooded, like, stoic-like gangster. The only thing you can say about Black Mask is that he's got anger issues. He's way more serious, way more sinister. He's not, well, he's a bit crazy, but like I said, mostly is with anger issue thing. But he's not like crazy. He's not eccentric. You're never gonna see him in a fucking night robe like he was with Victor Zsasz. I mean, seriously, the guy who portrayed Victor Zsasz, he did a way more better job than Ewan McGregor. And again, I'm sorry to say this, but Ewan McGregor, I love Ewan McGregor. He was great and everything. And I did enjoy his portrayal, but again, it wasn't my Black Mask. And again, another thing I had a problem with, where the fuck is the mask? He only wore it a little bit in the end. And Black Mask wears that thing all the time. Well, mostly the reason because it is actually attached to his face. He can't take it off. And they screwed up. They screwed that up. Also, I don't know. I just didn't like the way how they handled Montoya. I didn't like the way how they handled her. Huntress. I mean, Huntress was the only one.
She was okay.
Handled.
She was all right.
She was okay. She was the only one that was handled fine. But I didn't like her costume. It was awful. And also, Black Canary, I didn't like her the way how they handled her. I didn't like Black Canary, how they handled her and all that. So there's a lot of things going on. Even the action wasn't like really good. But on the positive side, I loved Margot Robbie's portrayal. Like I said, she is Harley Quinn. I loved her portrayal as Harley Quinn. She was great. I also love to see the hyenas. Finally, I love seeing the hyenas, even though they were CGI hyenas. But I still liked, that I saw them. So yeah, I mean, even like I said, the villains didn't work for me. Well, except Victor Zsasz. He was actually pretty close, like he was in the comics. Not 100%, but like he was pretty close.
Yeah.
But the overall, even the dynamic between them, like between Montoya, Huntress, Black Canary, Cassandra Cain, Harley Quinn, I didn't like. I didn't like their chemistry. I didn't like their dynamic. And also, why would you put Harley Quinn with the Birds of Prey? Seriously. And seriously, if you're gonna do Birds of Prey, for fuck's sake, like you use Black Canary, Huntress, Oracle, Lady Blackhawk, like even Dove, like you use actual Birds of Prey characters, not like Montoya was never part of as far as I remember, Montoya was never part of the Birds of Prey. As far as I know, she was the next the question after the original one died. Like again, I'm sorry if I'm ranting, but like that, I have a serious problem with Birds of Prey. Serious problem.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, but I tried to keep it short. But overall, I said everything. Taken everything out of Birds of Prey. Now we go to your spectacle renting, going crazy, wonky, bonkers on Justice League. Please, Kieran, show your angry passion.
Where to start? Do you know what? I there was no. They tried to do too much in Batman versus Superman to build everybody up, and then they almost didn't know what to do with Justice League to build upon that. It didn't feel like a film that we've been building towards. It felt like we were just being chucked at it. And I know the idea on paper, oh, it's 4 years, but it's 4 years where, we had Suicide Squad come out, we had Wonder Woman, Man of Steel, and Batman vs Superman. So we had 4 movies, a 4-movie build-up, where one of the films we didn't have any of the proper Justice League in prominent roles. Steppenwolf, let's move on. I don't think I can really go on about this. I just think what a forgettable villain in so many ways. When he's not on screen, you forget about him completely.
I mean, like I said,
the Flash got annoying. The Flash got annoying as the film went on. Aquaman was barely in it, and then the best character was, for me, in terms of the development of the story arc, was Cyborg, and we've never seen Cyborg again.
Yep.
So massive amount of that. The Superman death storyline in Batman vs Superman, to then bring it back straight away in Justice League, you don't have any real emotional impact. And then as soon as he comes back, he takes over completely. The final fight, when they're in that sort of abandoned place, all the orange, did not get that whatsoever. That orange sort of color palette was shocking. I think I've seen better color palettes on Instagram Reels. So it's honestly shocking. I think the biggest thing for me was that the difference in tone between your Zack Snyder and your Joss Whedon, and then even the trailers. If you go on, in the same with Suicide Squad, if you go on YouTube now and look at the difference between the first trailer and the second trailer, shown that with your big team up movie, and I think they had a little bit of an eye on the fact that the MCU was releasing Avengers Infinity War only a couple of months later, so they're kind of like, we need a team up movie and quick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be out of control. That's my biggest problems with these movies, is that movie as a whole, and I don't have much time for it. Like I said, I'm rewatching the movies. I'm going to go through them, and it's one of them where I'm seriously debating rewatching the movie because I just get my anger, my aging lines are going to show after watching it, but I'm going to have to for the ranking. But yeah, so many problems with that film, massive disappointment. And then it's even heightened even more when you see the Zack Snyder's version, just how different in quality them movies are.
I will also add that another positive thing I liked about the theatrical Joss Whedon Justice League was that line from Superman when Steppenwolf said, "You're too weak to see the truth," and he's like, "Well, I believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice." Like, okay, I was like, okay, that's something that Superman would say. So I like that delivery of that line.
Yeah,
but that's it. And I agree. I agree. That's something I just wanted to add to your complaints. I agree that Steppenwolf in the theatrical version, he was so wasted. He had nothing to do. Like, why would you take the mothers? Why would you create an orange thing? Like I said, around it. In the Snyder Cut, you actually know what he's doing. You actually know what he wants to do. But in this version, like, okay, you get the boxes, and then what? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna create an apocalypse or something? Like, no, I'm just gonna create this big orange thing. This looks like a fucking shitty stronghold from Galactus' ass, and because of eating too much pomegranates, and and basically nothing. And also, let's not forget, you forgot to mention the family. That family.
Yeah, well, you said enough. You said enough on that one.
I know. Oh my god! But everything you said, I agree. But on the positive side, can we both agree that the theatrical version of Steppenwolf, like his design, looked better?
Yeah, we'll agree on that.
If he was
agree on that.
if he was CGI better and motion capture as well, I think he
Yeah.
would have looked perfect.
Agree. Right, what's
Okay.
15 then?
15. For me, that's easy. Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman 1984. Again, a lot of problems.
We are in agreement, by the way. We are in agreement.
So Wonder Woman 1984. Like this is the movie where Patty Jenkins was given too much liberty, too much freedom to do whatever she wanted, and that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Like what which is something. For example, if Patty Jenkins worked for Marvel, Kevin Feige at least would have said to her, yes, you can do this. No, you can't do that. And I think DC, they should have done the same thing with her. They should have done the same thing.
She did. She was going to direct For the Dark World, and then it didn't happen. She got fired.
Yeah, because I think because like some creative disagreement, something like that. Yeah. But I had to say, I would still be curious what kind of a Dark World she would have done. I would have been curious. Yeah. Anyway, going back to Wonder Woman 1984 again. A lot of the jokes didn't work. The movie was way too long. Way too long. I told you before, Maxwell Lord, Cheetah, fucking wasted. I didn't like the way how they were handled. Maxwell Lord, especially, like I said, he fucking looked like a Donald Trump being a game show host. I mean, I'm serious. Like he looks like if Donald Trump was a game show host. Wonder Woman, come on down to The Price is Right. Like I said. So basically like that. And Chris Pine was okay, but the way how they brought him back, I didn't like it. And also that wishing fucking crystal, even that for me was like stupid. Wonder Woman again, Gal Gadot, like she was great. She was great as Wonder Woman. She is Wonder Woman. But overall, again, the story was confusing. Some of the jokes didn't work. Even the 80s version of jokes didn't work for me. But mostly because the movie was too long and the villains for me personally were wasted. So those are majorly my complaints.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, everything you sort of said. I didn't like Pedro Pascal in the role at all. I think there was some real problems with that. Even Kristen Wiig's Cheetah was poor casting because I don't find her funny, and I don't think that character lent itself to be funny. And then the Steve Trevor thing, I said when I watched it that when I watched the trailer, why he's coming back, I do not know. So the fact that he is, and then I thought, okay, there could potentially be this very creative way of doing it, and then the way that they even like told me about how they're going to do it was just shocking. It's one of them films that I've just etched out of my memory, but it came out in 2020, which again is another stupid decision from DC, where they just chucked on a streaming service. The first Wonder Woman's a fantastic film. Why they felt like they just needed to chuck that out there for everybody. I'm not saying it might have done poorly in terms of if it was just released in the cinema. So maybe they did think to themselves, okay, this is not the strongest. But even that poster, I mean, the poster of it is so bright and colourful, trying to captivate the 80s world. It just didn't fit. It didn't fit for the character. It didn't fit for what the character represented. They tried to push her into that idea of like, the Captain America and the Winter Soldier, where he's trying to get used to like life in this century. I think they're trying to do that, but then in the 80s style, but then they just make dramatic jokes. It's a very forgettable movie. It's one that I've really struggled to sort of try and go back and rewatch because I don't like the execution and the drop off between it. I think it was shocking.
I just want to add, okay, like I do agree that even though I respect Kristen Wiig as an actor, I do respect her, even as a comedian. But like, I think they should have cast someone else as Cheetah, someone like a little more I think like they should have cast someone a little more serious and not actually a comedian.
Yeah.
But basically, now I just want to add, like, coming to Pedro Pascal, like, because I've seen him in other different movies, like when he's actually playing serious roles. If they handled Maxwell Lord better, I think I would have been fine with him as Maxwell Lord. I would have been fine with him. Also, I just want to add one positive thing about it was really cool to see the original Wonder Woman in the credit scene. It was really cool to see.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I will agree. Okay, so we go to 14th, which for me is Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Okay.
That for me is on number 14. Now, I will say this: to kind of short and sweet, I liked for the majority of the movie. I liked Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Like, for example, I like Zachary Levi. He was awesome. I like the dynamic between the family. I really like the world building. I like the wizard. I like some action sequences. I really like that. I really like the moments with like some of the like family members. Like, for example, the little sister riding the unicorns, and like she almost said like mother, like motherfuckers. That was like pretty coul. That was really funny. Like those little moments. My biggest gripe. I wouldn't go as far as say Wonder Woman's cameo wasn't that bad. Okay, wasn't that bad, but it felt it was pushed. It felt it was like whoosh, just thrown there.
That's why I didn't like it. That's why
I mean, like it. Actually would have worked better if she was one of the major characters in the movie from the beginning. Like, she came there to help Shazam and the family to go up against, Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren's characters, basically. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think that would have worked way more better. Also, that nightmare sequence with the wizard, like being Wonder Woman's body, that was creepy.
So funny.
That was funny but creepy.
It was. Yeah, I laughed. I really laughed at that bit. I did.
No, I do agree.
Number 14. Go on.
No, the last thing I just wanted to say, my biggest hatred. Well, no, my biggest negative part of this movie were the villains. Like, why the hell did they choose the original villain instead of using actual DC Comics Shazam villains? Seriously, like you had Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind from the first one. You could have done some really great things with them, and also to mention teasing Black Adam, by the way. But no, they went with the original villains. So that was my biggest complaint. Even though I love Lucy Liu, I love Helen Mirren, I really love those two. Like those two are legends, but still, they could at least play the actual DC villains, not original like daughters of Atlas taken from the Greek mythology.
Yeah, definitely. So my number 14, which we did speak about briefly, that we're going to argue about.
Yep.
Black Adam.
Okay.
The trailer didn't excite me. A lot of people's opinion and what they remember from that movie is just oh my god, who's going to show up at the end? And like, oh my god, a character that wasn't even in the movie for large parts of it shows up and then announces herself as Amanda Waller. The fact that that's what you remember from it, I think the production, the way they spoke about this character, Dwayne Johnson, was completely wrong and false. I think the Justice Society of America, to have one bright spark in Pierce Brosnan's out of the four of them, I just think that was very disappointing, because I do like just the idea of the Society of America. Dwayne Johnson just plays such a cold character where there's no you just know you're powerful and that's it. That's the problem I have with Captain Marvel, is that you know how powerful they are. So that's, there's no ability to kind of go, I root for you, because they're going to win. The actions, the kid in it was annoying. He was simply getting in the way. I just wanted Adam Smasher to smash him. Smash all of his atoms. See what I did there? Really, I appreciated them going to a different place, like in terms of like, and obviously all the stuff and the slave thing as well. Like I got that straight away. I knew the twist that they were going to do was that, so I don't know why they decided to make that, because it was so obvious, the twist. So I appreciated them going to a different place. I appreciated them trying to link it in. I think the God element of it was done far better in Wonder Woman, the first one, than it was done in this one. So for me, Black Adam is not a great movie, and I'm really pleased he's not going to be coming back. And just put him as just Shazam's villain. Get them two to work against each other. That's the status of the comic book character. Why trying to put this on the same level as Superman? I don't know. No, not for me. That's why it's at number 14.
Okay. So on my number 13 is Aquaman. Yeah, is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I'm so pleased. I was getting worried. I was getting worried about how high you were putting this, by the way.
Now, number 13 is Aquaman the Lost Kingdom. Now, the reason why is a little bit higher than the others is because I actually enjoy them more than you. I thought it was actually pretty funny, like a pretty super fun time at the cinema. I like the action sequences, Patrick Wilson and like Ocean Master and Aquaman's relationship. I thought like their dynamic was actually pretty cool. I loved Black Manta. For me, Black Manta was the highlight of Aquaman 2. I really loved him. Everything was fine. Like even the mythology around the Lost Kingdom, like, even though it's a DC version of Mordor.
Introduced too late. Introduced far too late in that.
Yeah, but like I said, the Lost Kingdom kind of looked like Mordor in a way. And and basically where the evil king is imprisoned, it's kind of like Mount Doom, but okay, whatever. And also the actual overarching villain, he fucking looked like he fucking looked like Sauron's cousin. So again, the action sequences were fine. For me personally, that running gag with Patrick Wilson, for me, that was actually funny. For me, that was funny for me.
Is that because that's how you run?
No, it's just that weird position that he was holding. Like I thought like that was hilarious. That strange position. I thought that was funny. Okay. I'm a guy who loves like funny positions. I'm that kind of guy. Anyway, so the story was way more interesting than the previous ones. I like the mythology around the Lost Kingdom. The only problem I have, the biggest one actually, was not the gags or anything, but because of the villain, the final overarching villain. That was my biggest problem. For me personally, James Wan, he should have literally scrapped that villain and just leave Black Manta as the main bad guy. Kind of like him finding the lost treasures of this Lost Kingdom and using them against Aquaman. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's it. Not being possessed or anything. Just simply finding those artifacts and using them against Aquaman, and that's it. Everything else was fine. I missed Willem Dafoe's character. I also noticed why Amber Heard was a way more less in this movie than in the first one. But I'm not gonna go into that. So overall, yeah, that's the reason. The biggest reason for me is the villain thing. Why is on my number 13? But overall, I actually enjoyed it even more than you.
I can tell. Yeah. Number 13 for me is where you put number 14, and that is Shazam 2. I think it was just, again, it began the 2023, the year where we knew these characters were not going to be coming back. That's why I didn't appreciate the end scene where, even though it was funny about Justice Society and Avengers, I thought that was quite funny. But you knew exactly where this character was going to finish off. I liked the relationships, but for me, I agree with you with the villains. Really great characters, especially the younger one. Rachel Zegler's character was only just in there. That final scene as well with the dragon, I wasn't a particularly big fan of that.
That was okay.
It just felt more. Yeah, it just felt more of the same. It just felt more of the same. And that's it. Nothing really different to add to anything. It just felt like Shazam won, but just done in a much more of a chucked out of the way, and no, wasn't impressed with the execution of Shazam 2. And then that last scene with Mark Strong's character, like he's going to come back, talking to was it a worm? I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
You mean Mr. Mind?
Is that Mr. Mind? Well, anyway, that was just shocking.
But trust me, in the comics, Mr. Mind is a very powerful and dangerous villain. Trust me.
He's okay. I can't wait to see a very powerful and dangerous worm. But
well, a caterpillar actually.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a worm to me because worm to me because it was shocking.
I know.
No, it was the beginning of a really bad year for DC, throwing away all their projects, had enough of it, and Shazam 2 is definitely down there for me.
Okay. But I just want to add to the Shazam Fury of the Gods. I forgot to mention that one of my negatives is I hated the way how the costumes look like. I hated the costumes. Like in the first movie, the costumes looks way better than the first one, than the second one.
Yeah.
That's also one of my negatives. The costumes, like they look terrible. Okay. My 12th place is actually Suicide Squad. David Ayer's Suicide Squad. My 12th place. Overall, like, look, and I'm going to talk about the 15 extended cut version. The 15 minutes extended cut version. It was a super fun time again, just like Aquaman 2. It was a super fun time at the theater. I really liked the casting, and all these characters together and everything. Like everything was great. Like I said, I liked Jared. Oh, okay. Excuse us, folks. We're just gonna pause a little bit while my friend does his business. And we're back, folks. We're back. Okay, so basically, like I said, when it comes to Suicide Squad, like I even liked a little more Jared Leto's Joker than you. I thought he was okay. Yeah. I thought he was okay. Even though for me personally, I just wanted to comment on what you said about the henchmen being in those ridiculous costumes and all that. I'm sorry, but the Joker had henchmen one time that were dressed up as mimes. Just so you know, and different clowns. So, like, his henchmen being dressed weird.
Yeah, but what film was that in? Yeah, but what film was that in?
Well, okay, let's start with the more grounded ones. Okay, the Joker in The Dark Knight, his gangs were wearing masks. They were wearing clown masks. Which, okay,
yes,
this is grounded. This is actually grounded. But the ones I'm talking about, like the most I'm talking about, like, is the comics and the animated movies. That's where basically his henchmen were dressed weirdly, as you would say, weirdly, So and Joker being weird, that's actually part of him, of being weird, because he is crazy. He is a psychopath.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though for me, okay, right. the knives thing, that was a little bit strange, but again, he's the Joker, so I kind of accepted it.
Okay.
My only issue with the Suicide Squad, again, just like with the others, is the villains. The villains for me, again, Enchantress, wrong choice for a Suicide Squad villain. They should have used someone grounded, like I said, Bane, Deathstroke, Joker, Black Mask. Hell, I will go as far as say, like, even who else? even if they went like up against like Tobias Whale or someone else, like, the point is like Enchantress, it was a wrong choice. It was a definitely wrong choice. And also, like, she had no fucking goal. She only went there dancing and waving her ass. That's it. So, and again, a waste of Cara Delevingne's portrayal. I just want to say it's a waste of Cara Delevingne's portrayal. So yeah, again, the story was simple. The humor was fine, especially with Jai Courtney, Captain Boomerang. He was great. He was one of my favorite parts of the movie, alongside Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. So yeah, simple story, but my biggest gripe is with the villains. I think David Ayer, like he said, he should have gone with the Joker. But anyway, that's my number 12.
So yeah, my number 12 is also a film with Harley Quinn in. The Suicide Squad is a number.
Really?
12. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Birds of Prey.
Okay.
Don't worry, you're not having a heart attack. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I know you had a lot of things wrong with it, but I just found it okay. It wasn't anything incredible. First of all, the Birds of Prey should not have been in it. That was such a just a shocking. Let's just chuck them in. And then they brilliantly thought that they were going to do a Birds of Prey solo movie with the way that the film ended, and just going like, they're a team now, and you're like, yeah, we know who they are, we know what.
And Harley, she's doing her own thing.
Yeah, and Harley's doing her own thing, and I did think there was some nice comedy moments in there, especially at the beginning where it's like, let's start from the beginning, and then it's like showing of like the sperm and like I just thought that was like, what am I watching right now? Like, especially there was a young kid in there. I can always remember it. There was like a young kid in there, and I was like, sorry, what? Like, I was just like, you're learning about this, aren't you? But Margot Robbie was fantastic as Harley Quinn. Victor Zsasz, the actor, I didn't mind Black Mass, but I understand where you're coming from. I think his character changed so much based on the movie he was in and kind of matched the Harley comedic tone. I did think it was a little bit more grounded in terms of like a simple like gangster story. Even though it should have been done a bit better, I think it kind of was very different to what we've seen from other performances and portrayals in terms of Harley Quinn's and involvement in the other films. So I didn't mind it. There was definitely some problems. It's always just chucked in there as like, it's very forgettable. It's very like, oh yeah, that film's in it. So that's where it goes down below for me at number 12.
Okay. Now we're getting to the interesting part. Number 11 is The Flash for me. Even though I have more positive views on The Flash, it's still that low for me because my biggest reason...
Is it the same place for me? Get in.
Another movie that we're tied. Yes. So number one, like I said, number 11 for me is The Flash. I mean, still enjoyable. Like I said, there are a lot of elements of Ezra Miller's performance that I really loved in this movie, especially with the shop scene with his mother. That was really emotional.
That was really touching. That was the best part. Of all of it. Yeah.
But and again, Michael Keaton, he was great as Batman. Like, want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Like classic Michael Keaton Batman. Like, it was great to see him back. Like I said, the actress that was played Supergirl, she was okay. She wasn't the Supergirl I was used to, but being from another timeline, she was fine. She was okay. But for me, she was a little bit too serious. Michael Shannon, for what they gave him, he was okay, even though he was way better in Man of Steel. But he was okay. My biggest even Ben Affleck, like his final performance as Batman, even he was fine. And Wonder Woman, with that little cameo that she had, she was also fine in it. I love the costume of the Flash. That was a very comic accurate costume. Really great. But my problem, and I think you'll agree with me, my three biggest problems. Well, okay. Yeah. Three biggest problems I have with the Flash is, number one, is the villain. That dark Flash thing was a complete waste of time. I didn't like. I get it, like, the origin of that villain, but he was lame. He was like, he's in one of my lowest ones on the list. Like I can easily forget him. They should have gone, like, seriously, like they should have gone with someone way more better. Like, for example, I don't know, Reverse Flash, aka Professor Zoom. They couldn't have gone with him. I don't know. Anyway, so that was my first problem, and my second problem, which I think you and I will both agree, is the effects, the CGI, right? We can both agree that was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It was nice to see some of the cameos there, like, Christopher Reeve's Superman, Nicolas Cage's Superman, Adam West's Batman, and all that. Like, that was pretty cool to see, like, different universes. That was cool. But all that Speed Force thing and the effects, yeah, that was a bit weird. I know Eddie Muschietti said that was done on purpose, but, like, still, I don't know. It was a little bit weird to me. So overall, The Flash is on my 11th place, mostly because of the villain, the effects. And also, I personally think Flashpoint Paradox was, I think, a wrong choice for, like, a Flash movie as a first Flash movie.
Yeah, I think they tried to adapt it to the times because obviously they were trying to reboot everything. And so I think those sort of went hand in hand. The CGI was shocking. Not only in that scene with the flashpoint, that looked like a coliseum. It was just so messy. We also had like Dark Flash in it that I forgot was even in it until the end.
Me too.
There was two really campy versions of two very different versions of Barry Allen. That was like opposite ends of the spectrum. You never felt like you got one really, really good version. Michael Keaton was good. No problem with that. Zod as well, like you said, what he was given was fine. Supergirl was fine. The emotional scene I thought was really nice. I thought that, but it definitely felt like, okay, this movie's okay, a little bit emotional in that way with the shopping thing with his mum. The idea of the themes of letting go and things like that, I think, was okay and pretty strong. The scene where in the hospital where he's saving the children and like his head just like pops in, that was shocking. And like, yeah, and obviously all the things sort of like Batman and Wonder Woman as well. But the one thing, and I will tell you a story, it's story time here on the channel. The scene at the end where he gets a call from Bruce Wayne and there's like a crowd of people, so you don't know who it is. Oh my Lord. And then it's revealed who it is. And I kid you not, I don't do this because the cinema was not that busy. And I kid you, we were in the back row. I was with a group of friends, and I literally, and by the way, they're casual film watchers. They're just casual film watchers. They watch them here, they watch them there. But my best friend is a massive Batman fan, and he was sat on one end of the row. I was sat on the other end of the row, and I literally shouted, when you see the ugly face of George Clooney, he's a very good looking man. Ugly man George Clooney, I went, no, and I shouted it so loud in the cinema, and I can remember this like woman just going, fair enough. And I was just, and like, he's there with his head in his hands, like me and him are just going, what is going on? And one of the lads, Josh, his name is, he's a fantastic guy. I love Josh. He said, I feel like I need to watch. He'd not watched a single Batman movie, which I know is a crime as well, but he'd not watched a single one. So he said he had COVID. He had because COVID was coming back. He had COVID. He went, I'm going to spend the whole week and just watch the whole Batman movies. And he went through them. Keaton's, he liked the Batman Forever. He didn't mind. And then he got to Batman and Robin, and he messaged me as soon as he finished it. He went, I now understand why you shouted out at the cinema. Why did they put him in? And yeah,
well, I think the reason behind it is because like they wanted to put it. It's kind of like a joke. Because, the original sequence was supposed to be like basically when he gets out of court, the Supergirl that we know was supposed to like come there alongside Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, basically. if they continue the DC Extended Universe. That was actually supposed to be one of the original cuts, and the other one was like you actually see like Ben Affleck's Batman and Wonder Woman and even Henry Cavill Superman appearing after he comes out of the courtroom. So you had two ending sequences. You had two, basically. And then, of course, they went with George Clooney, because they were like, I know, screw it. Like, DCU is coming to an end. Let's put some kind of a jokey thing, Oh, I know. Let's bring George Clooney. The Batman that people hate, And yeah. And my personal reaction was like, what the fuck? That was my reaction. It wasn't no, not even like the Darth Vader, no. Like, it wasn't like that. It was just, what the fuck? But okay, whatever. Okay, number 10. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, number 10. Brace yourself. For me, is Black Adam.
Thank God it has not gone any higher. Thank God. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it's coming to the top 10, so he's my number 10. Black Adam.
Ow.
The only...
Yeah.
Calm down. Deep breaths.
I'm not calm now.
The only reason why he's high for me is because, again, because just like I said for Aquaman and what was the other one, Suicide Squad and the rest, it was a super for real.
What? No, I can hear you. I promise you I can hear you. I know that was a joke earlier. I promise I can hear you.
Okay.
They're dead.
Okay. Oh, I get it. Okay, so basically, Black Adam for me, when I was watching in the theater, I watched it. Stop screwing around. Okay. I know you prefer to go deaf, especially when I'm going with Black Adam, but like, seriously. I've been fair all this time with you, okay? So try to be fair with me. So basically, for me personally, Black Adam was loads of fun, and most of the reason why it's so high for me personally is because of I'm a big fan of the Justice Side of America, and also because of Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate. Like I really loved, and that was like a spot on casting for me. So that's one of the reasons why it's higher. And also, it's not, and also, okay, the credit scene with Superman, that was also pretty good. Okay, that was also pretty good as well. And a really great. Okay, and we're gonna be, and it's I figure it's actually solid send off to Henry Cavill's Superman. So the credit scene was fun as well. But overall, I like the movie because, like I say, it was loads of fun. Great, battle sequences. The story was okay. The story overall. But my biggest problem is the villain. That's the only problem I have is the villain, and also, again, they chose the fucking villain that should have been gone up against Justice League Dark, not Black Adam.
Yeah.
Jesus. So that's my only gripe. The reason why it was a number 10. Like I said, but again, the reason why I took it and again, Dwayne Johnson's performance as Black Adam, I didn't mind it. Okay, I didn't mind it. It was fine. It was fine. It was The Rock, simple The Rock. Like always. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit hysterical.
No, it's fine. My number 10, Suicide Squad, first one.
Okay.
Smith was good. Robbie was good. Viola Davis was good. I thought the music was gave it a bit of an edginess to it. I think it was there were some really good song choices in there. I had some good action sequences. I thought that was fine, and nice character development for some people. The three I mentioned there was pretty good. El Diablo as well was good. Character development. I didn't mind that, but Joker was too forced to be scary. Villains were forgettable. Despite spending like the first act of the film, I didn't know this until I rewatched it, like I mentioned earlier, but that first act is so heavily focused on like Enchantress and all this backstory and the mythology type of it. And I thought, okay, well, that's pretty good. And then how that goes from being forgettable was shocking, especially with the fact that one of the members of the Suicide Squad, Rick Flag, is with her and is only fighting for her. How can you make her as forgettable as they did? The color palette was so dark, and so it literally was just the same color throughout the whole film. You know, you feel like this film has a little bit of uniqueness, mainly because it's focusing on villains. So, which Marvel had obviously not done. They'd not given a project to villains before. So you felt like, okay, that's unique. That's something different. Let's get behind it. But to make it so similar in tone and ideas just didn't give it that creativeness. It cracks the top 10 mainly because of some solid performances and decent music. So, yeah, I don't think I could have put it any higher than what I have.
Oh yeah, fair enough. And again, introduction of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn and her performance, like she was really great. So she was really destined to play that role. Okay, my number 9. Maybe you'll be surprised that I put him there. My number 9 is Blue Beetle.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, my own. Like I said, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like Blue Beetle, I love the costume. The actor did a really great performance. I love this family. Oh, his family was awesome. Oh my god! Especially, I love the granny. I love the granny, and I love the uncle. Those two were more my favorites of the family. Oof, that was great. My only reason why I put it in that low is because, and I even like the mythology around the Blue Beetle mantle. It was really great. The jokes were also good, and it was really great to see like the old three, like the first 2 original costumes of Blue Beetle. Like from Ted Kord and the very first one. That was also pretty good. Like a reference and an Easter egg, basically. The story overall, it was simple. The story was very simple. A typical superhero origin story. The reason why for me is so low, again, because the villains, with the exception of the henchman, like who played the indestructible man, like he was fine. Like he was a way more, for me, interesting villain than the businesswoman who was supposed to be Ted Kord's wife, which actually in the comics she's supposed to be Ted Kord's sister, not wife. Just so you know. Okay. So that was a very interesting change. Why they changed that, but okay, whatever. But overall, yeah, I mean, we had a very simple story. I really liked the action. Oh my god, the costume was perfection. Yeah, the costume was so perfect. And I like the action, but overall, again, the reason for me why it was that low is because, like I said, the story was a bit simple, and of course, some of the villains didn't work. But everything else was great, and I really love that joke. Batman is a fascist. that was funny.
Yeah, my number 9 is Batman versus Superman. Obviously, we discussed about it, but I'm gonna have to put it that low mainly because of some things. I think strong performance from Affleck and Godot. I thought they were good. The final fight was really strong. I thought there was interesting stories sort of leading on from Man of Steel. I think it felt very grounded. It felt very realistic. The idea of like, what if Superman was bad, and like, how people have got this different opinion of him. I think that it's very similar to Iron Man in that sense, but done a lot better because it was an alien when this guy was just a man in a suit. So I did think it worked a lot better in ideas wise. Snyder's tone in terms of the darkness, I think, was much more effective in this one because of Batman. And I think Affleck had a really great performance. I think he was the best part of it. For me, I think Superman, I think Henry Cavill could have done one more Superman movie before being chucked in this. Okay. I do think Batman upstaged him in a lot of it. But for me, so many stories and so many plot lines all admitted into one movie. So it felt very crowded. And I didn't like, as we mentioned, the over-exaggeration of Lex Luthor. So unbearing. It was shocking. Even at the end as well. Like, when they were shaving his head, I wish they could have just shaved other parts as well. So yeah, that's mine.
Okay, so that's number 9. Number 8 for me is Aquaman. That's
okay.
My number 8 is my number 8 is Aquaman, and again, I don't know, like I really like the story. Again, Jason Momoa's performance was great. Mera was great. The guy who played Black Manta, he was also pretty good. Like I said, the top 10 thing was really difficult. But like Aquaman is my number 8. I don't know. Like if I have to find some negative things about it, I don't know. Like I really don't know. Aquaman is really difficult to find some problems. It's really difficult because James Wan for the first Aquaman, he did a really good job. With like the character development, the origin, the family. Tamora Morrison was great as his father. Black Manta was great. Ocean Master was great. The relationship between them was great. The fights were really good. The only thing maybe I had a problem with is maybe that instead of like Aquaman's mother being dead, they brought her back.
Yeah.
That for me personally, like I think she would have worked way more better if they show some flashback moments with her, But I think like that was the only for me negative part, like bringing her back,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like they thought that the story would have been better, and maybe like because the actress. But overall, like I have minor problems with it. Overall, I really enjoyed the Aquaman.
Yeah,
It's
minor
really hard to
problems with
say
Aquaman.
negative.
Yeah, minor problems with Aquaman. But my number 8 is Shazam. Again, not really got a lot to knock on, to really knock it against. I think it was Zachary Levi was fantastic. The childlike themes I think was different. The Mark Strong dark stuff I think felt so out of place, particularly when he's like, I do think that the themes and the genres sort of contradicted each other massively when you go from like being really fun and comedic to that darkness straight away. Digimon Hunsu I thought was really good. He's a very serious actor, so I think seeing him in something a bit more lighthearted and fun and a character written in that way I thought was nice. But yeah, like I said, not really a lot of problems. I just think it was a different tone, a nice grounded film. The themes of obviously being adopted and having a family I think was nice, but I don't think for me I could have put it any higher.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so my number 7, this maybe might surprise you. My number 7 is Wonder Woman.
Okay.
The only everything about that movie was great, from the fights, the theme, the soundtrack. Oh my god, the soundtrack! The Chris Pine, Gal Gadot, like all the supporting characters, everything was great. The only problem I had with that movie was the way how Patty Jenkins and the crew handled Ares. That was my only complaint. Like I thought, like I mean, don't get me wrong, Nicholas Hoult, he like I love that guy. Like he's a really great actor when it comes to playing villains. He's really good, and he could have done a really good job as Ares. But the way how they handled them, not to mention like his redesign, because the first design they had was way more scarier, and I would have actually much more appreciated if they kept that one. But like no, they had to change it because they thought it was too scary. Just the way how they handled Ares, that was my problem. Again, a villain thing. But overall, Wonder Woman, like the first movie, a great one. It was a great one.
Okay. Yeah, my number 7 is your number 8, which is Aquaman. It's weird to say that that's the highest grossing DC film of all time.
Yeah.
But Momoa was really good in it. Patrick Wilson was good. The Amber Heard comedic things just didn't work for me. And that's not based on like private and personal situations. That's purely based on the performance. Just think it was so forced. Willem Dafoe as well was a really good. I'm really frustrated that they killed him off. Because he's a fantastic actor. And I like the underwater moments. I think Aquaman 2 as well, a negative of that, it was so dark.
I forgot about to mention that the effects were really good. Really good.
But I think the scenery I thought was absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
And just nobody's favorite ever. Black Manta was okay, but I didn't want an okay villain in that type of film. But yeah, it's weird because I speak to a lot of people about movies, and I never hear anybody go, Aquaman's my favorite DC film, but it's also the highest grossing as well.
Okay.
And I think it just didn't have that appeal for me. But no, still pretty solid.
I mean, we all have different tastes and choices, so
Of course,
you know. Okay, so that was number 7, right?
it was indeed.
Okay, so my number 6 is Shazam. My number 6.
Okay, okay.
My number 6 is Shazam. It is definitely one of my most favorite DCEU movies. I would even go as far as say one of my favorite DC live action movies ever. Because I really love the comedy. Zachary Levi was spot on as Shazam. Really love the dynamic between the family. Everyone was spot on. The fights were great. I really love Jimon Honso as the wizard. He was also good. My only reason why is that low for me is because the way how they handled Dr. Savannah. Because don't get me wrong, Mark Strong is a great actor, and he was okay for what they gave him. He was okay, but like Dr. Savannah in the comics, he's basically a mad scientist. He's basically a mad scientist, and he's trying to defeat Shazam with machines. So that was the only thing I kind of was like, why are you doing this? Like, why did they change them? But okay, fine, whatever. Okay. But yeah, besides Dr. Savannah's, the way how they changed him, everything else for me worked. Even like I even loved the scene in the school with Superman coming, at the cafeteria. That was also actually pretty funny. And I like the crate scene with Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind, which of course in the end was fucking wasted, but they could have done great things with it. But okay, whatever. But overall, that's it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. My number 6 is your number 9, and that's Blue Beetle. The brightest spark of 2023 in terms of the DCEU.
Definitely.
Jola Marijuana was fantastic. I like the Hispanic culture. Definitely, something that is been underutilized in sort of film projects and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I think that was a really beautiful moment. I think the family, and the chemistry behind them. That's why, again, spoiler, when the dad dies, I just think was so emotionally heart wrenching, and you have to feel a sense of realism. The suit was fantastic. Comedy really worked in there, and just a really great film. Cannot wait to see more of the character. I think, and he definitely worked really, really well. Gave a very Spider-Man vibe, a very Spider-Man sense.
Exactly.
Within the film, which I love Spider-Man. So doing that on DC's turn, it kind of works really well for me. That's why it's number 6.
Okay, now we go to our top 5. Now things will get really interesting.
Yep.
Top 5. Okay, my number 5 is gonna be Man of Steel. Yeah.
Another one. We're at 3.
Oh, great.
I'm keeping my notes about where we put them all on, and we're all in agreement. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, my number 5 is Man of Steel. Again, Zack Snyder's vision and interpretation of Superman, and of course Henry Cavill. That was all great. Like I really loved Henry Cavill as Superman. But the one thing that really was intriguing for me, again, like I said, was Snyder's vision, the way how he interpreted Superman, and of course Michael Shannon's General Zod. Oh my God, he was great in that movie. He was a really great villain, great portrayal. Lois Lane, like the actress who portrays Lois Lane, even she was like pretty good. The fights were amazing, especially the final one against General Zod. That was like destructively fantastic. One of the great superhero battles I've ever seen. The effects were like, really good. Really liked the story. The actors who portrayed Martha Kent and Uncle Ben and Ben. Yep. Like, I forgot for Ben Kent. You have fucking Kevin Costner. Come on, like, he was really good, and I really like the way how Zack Snyder told the origin of Superman, and of course Russell Crowe as Jor-El. That was also a really nice touch as well, So overall, the little bit of mythology around Krypton, the story, like, it made it worthy to be on my number 5. Like, there's a lot of things I liked. The only maybe negative thing is that is something that Snyder usually does, is sometimes that some slow motion moments are like unnecessary, but like overall, that's a really minor problem for me.
Yeah, definitely. Again, it's a number 5. I think there's really educational decision making for the character. Really strong performances, good action sequences. Zod was a very good villain, and there's some really great supporting performances. The only thing that dropped it down for me a little bit, I think the first hour really dragged for me. I think there would have been a few more sort of light-heartedness within the film, but I understand the vision in which they were going for. But I did like this idea, and everyone goes against it. But I think killing Zod was the best decision, particularly for the way that Michael Shannon's portrayal obviously worked. And yeah, it's definitely the brightest spark of the, I know a lot of people go on about Iron Man and how good that film is. I think Man of Steel was again another solid start for the DCEU, which this film's got to do well.
Yeah, definitely. That, oh my god, the scene with killing Zod, like, it was a great decision that they made, and also it made that scene way more powerful and emotional.
Yeah.
Anyway,
definitely.
My number 4. This is gonna surprise you. My number 4 is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yep.
And now, I know maybe you're a little bit surprised. Now, the only reason why is so up there, because again, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, the fights. I really like the story. The extended version mostly is because of the extended version why it's on my number 4, because of the extended version, because it tells a way more better story. Really love the battles and everything. Like, the only thing why he's on my number 4 is because of J.C. Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Honestly, like he would have made a lot more better Riddler than Lex Luthor. That's my personal opinion.
True.
But overall, like, even though Lex Luthor's portrayal was bad, there's a lot of things about Batman v Superman that is so powerful, so strong, that's why I put him on my 4th place. Like I said, from the story, the emotions, the revelation, the twists, the turns, and the battles, and of course Gal Gadot's introduction as Wonder Woman and Ben Affleck's introduction as Batman. Oh my god, like, there's so many great things that's why it's on my 4th place.
Yeah, no. This might surprise you, but my number 4 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I do think it could have worked as 2 parts. So I do think that's particularly a negative against it. I think it is overcrowded in a lot of certain particular moments, but it is leaps and bounds on from that 2017 live action. Oh, sorry, theatrical, not live action, theatrical. Portrayal. So for me, absolutely deserves number 4, mainly because of every fantastic decision making was just unbelievable. I'm going to quickly run through my top 3 here. Peacemaker season 1 is at number 3, obviously the only TV show in the list. John Cena is absolutely fantastic, a great continuation on. I think out of all them characters, Peacemaker definitely leans itself to a sort of continuation of a TV show. James Gunn's flair was all over that TV show, and I think it just made some fantastic educational decisions for the character. Want to see more of him, of course, and of course the opening credit scene.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So funny. Number two is The Suicide Squad. James Gunn's one. It was again a coin toss between my second and first, but the first bit when they're killing them all off, like I was just like, what is going on? Are they telling this film in reverse? Or have the cinema decided to put this film in reverse? But no, really fun characters. Then the 5 that we focus on, I think it's 5. Yeah, I think it's 5.
Yeah.
Are all brilliant. They're so funny. They all have some fantastic character, and that last scene is just Gunn's flair straight from the off, and it's a really fun film. There's nothing that I'd ever go against it, and it's amazing. But number 1 is Wonder Woman. I think they jump on leaps and bounds from obviously Batman vs Superman. Gal Gadot was fantastic, and I just think, for me, and what I like and what I enjoy about films and genres, mixing together a superhero film with a war movie, there was so much more realistic with the war themes than they did in the first Avenger. I think the war, so was that, and then also adding Greek gods into it as well. I love the Greek god stories. So mixing it all I do agree with Ares, I do, but I do think linking it all together was Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that is my list. But can I just say quickly, guys, I do have to go due to other commitments. But thank you so much to this incredible man right here. Subscribe to him; he's fantastic.
Can I just say very quickly my own, because like basically we are very very similar here. So basically my top three. So basically my top three are number 3 is Peacemaker. I agree on everything what you just said. The only my problem I had with the butterfly aliens, for me that was kind of like a lame villain material. But okay, But but the reason why it's number 3 because it made it better with the White Dragon. So Peacemaker, my number 3. Second place is the Suicide Squad, just like you. My number 1, I think you figured it out. My number 1 is Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
Because what Zack Snyder did in 4 hours, for me, it was just pure perfection. Everything was great. The only thing I didn't like was Steppenwolf's design, but everything else was great. From the story, the information, twists, revelations, everything was perfect. Which is why it also became one of my favorite DC and superhero movies of all time, because everything about it was so cool. So with all that being said, we have finally come to the end of this Shadow Council episode 13, the legacy of the DCEU. Well, guys, I appreciate you all enjoying our rants, bullshitting, and complaints.
Yes.
So far, the only thing we can say, we cross fingers that James Gunn is going to do a way more better job than what Warner Bros. Did with the DCEU. There it is.
Yep.
So all of you guys, you know the drill. Link, comment, section. Comment, like, subscribe. All of that. So, like always, Laura Shadows signing off.
Film Review Central signing off. Make sure you subscribe to this man. Absolute legend. Love him.
Yeah. Now we continue to a new journey with Superman Legacy. See you guys.